Let's go.
T90 Pog.
All right, ladies and gents, welcome to Arabia. Oh, how I love it. We have 1v1 between
Random
MbL
Forest nothing Showmatch.
and Villese. MbL is playing as the Berbers, and Villese is playing as the Japanese. Kind of a tough Civ matchup for Berbers, I would say, but there are stages where they can excel, and I will talk about that too. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this show match is hosted by MSugar,
Thanks
who
for
has
the
been
great content,
has spread some
T90.
sugar around this community too. So thanks for doing that, MSugar, if you're out there listening. These guys are playing for $750 with a 60-40 split, and we get to watch the games and get some good content out of it. But MbL has gone Berbers, and then Villese is Japanese. Way back in the day, guys, because I didn't really have anything else to talk about. Way back in the day, I would spend like 5 minutes in Dark Age talking about the maps and comparing them. I don't do that so much anymore, and I think it's just because it's super repetitive, but I do just want to point out that the back gold position is just so good for Villese. Woodline's also pretty good, though some of them are forward. You look at MbL's base, I think in many ways this is worse, unless you get some walls down. The berries are forward, the gold's forward. Now, you can lame in this show match, as far as I'm aware, which I think is why Villese brought in his Rhino right away. There's no other reason for him to do that, except for expecting him to be able to steal one. And he will find all of his resources soon. What is this woodline? Pretty sure this is just a scripting error. Like, this is supposed to be 2 separate woodlines, but that is basically a large wall for Villese. So imagine some walls here and then building your barracks and whatnot on the front. Could be really strong.
Oh, yeah.
All right. MbL has a Civ that excels in Castle Age. Now, when you think of Berbers, you think cheap knights. Those cheap knights can be countered by Japanese monks, Japanese pikemen. And if Japanese get to a lot of halbs in this matchup, unless MbL has a ton of camel archers, which is kind of hard to get to, I think it'll be tough for Berbers. Berbers really struggle against any civilization that has strong halbs with rams. And I know Japanese don't get siege ram, but just something to think about. But Japanese are also very slow civ. So if MbL could use his mobility here, I could see this working out. Here comes MbL. He has wasted no time here pushing in Zebra, so he should have a pretty fast uptime. I actually think he's going to go for a pre-mill
The
rush
baby
here.
has arrived. Well done, T90.
Now, I really like to go for this build order with Berbers nowadays because normally you incorporate sending villagers out to Zebra, 3 or 4 vills out there, and your villagers are really quick. So if they get caught out, they can run home. And then on the way there, it doesn't take too long either. There's the barracks for MbL. Let's go to Villese, see if he's scouting this. Moving out across the map. And he sees MbL's scout, and MbL, ooh. MbL will be happy to know that this scout has not seen anything of importance yet. Sad Geo says, has there ever been a tournament that used Pokemon fight rules? Okay, no offense, but as someone who's not into Pokemon, I'm tempted to just not read the rest of this paragraph. It says, AKA each player picks 4 civs, maybe hidden picks, and can use them until they're defeated. Maybe make each game winner keep their winning civ for the next game so the loser could pick a new civ to counter it. I don't think I've ever seen a tournament or show match. Did MbL just lose a villager to a Pokemon? Pokemon distracted me. This is why we don't talk about Pokemon, man.
Yeah?
To be fair, I was not expecting MbL to ever lose a villager with Berbers to an elephant, so that wasn't a great start. But anyways, yeah, I think that those settings would get a little bland, personally. So I guess to answer your question, no, I have not seen anything like that yet. So maybe it will inspire somebody to do that. Oh, boy, this could be really bad for MbL. Okay, so here's the deal. He has not scouted where Villese is or what Villese is doing. He lost a villager already. And Villese has found MbL's woodline. And Villese could block villagers and get a kill here. So MbL is just kind of hoping... Oh, you're kidding me. He sees the straggler, he sees the house, he knows the TC is there. He's kind of hoping he'll find damage as they both are essentially going for the same build. But Villese, here he is, and MbL has to run immediately. Now, this could easily be a block situation with the scout, but it's Berber villagers. So I mentioned this earlier. You can kind of save yourself with this Civ, and so he does. While he's trying to get blocks in, and okay. Now, it hurt MbL more to have lost the villager as early as he did, because that villager could have been bringing in a lot of resources, but he did get a kill. And he's bringing villagers back out to the wood line now. I guess he could fight this off. But the whole idea of a drush is normally just to buy time and delay, too. So, certainly it's accomplishing that here. As MbL must be focused over here. He is. You see Villese with a clean build on the way to Feudal Age behind this. I think MbL's in trouble. Because Villese's villagers on gold already. Oh! Oh, but Villese... Can MbL get another kill? He's going to be desperate to get a kill here. He's trying to block. Villese is clicking like crazy. Block, 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 block. Whoop. Rip. Yeah, because Villese is able to get to gold, he's actually going to keep these units alive, and they'll be men-at-arms soon. And MbL doesn't have the eco to up the Feudal Age. So when you're in MbL's position, you just pray that the opponent is not up yet. But a cleaner build to get Feudal Age for Villese, as he could even add a 4th militia here. But he is off berries. Now what he'll do is add a range and start it off with an archer. I like how Villese has come over here to get 4 on gold now. So we can get men-at-arms and get the archers out. The second Villese hits Feudal, he needs to attack before MbL quick walls this. Or at least like keep this open somehow. If I'm MbL, I add Palisades right now. I mean, he's really good at dealing with pressure, but now he sees Feudal Age comes in. He knows the militia are strong. I think you've got to get Palisades down. House. Yeah, good job from MbL. Before this gets out of hand, and he has to wall this entire wood line. Something he's doing. Good job. Now that's idle time. He still has his militia alive, and he has taken out the mill at least. Right? MbL at least has his berries. Let's look at Villese's scouting. He doesn't know the berries are there. He might just attack the house and bring an archer forward, but let's see. He sees the villagers now. MbL intentionally brought villagers over to this side of the berries, though, so he's closer to run to the TC. And he's just going to make a run for it here. Man, Berber villager speed is insane. He even got some good hits in there with his vills. The TC got some hits. As you see Villese coming forward to tower that wood line. MbL adding a stable for scouts, which is not something you typically see. See how that works out. Now, you wouldn't normally see Villese come forward in this position to tower. But MbL just sensing that he's exposed. Actually, you know what it is? He's sensing an archer to come to the wood line, and he's not going to have any skirms, right? So he kind of needs a tower anyways. But yeah, when you go for 2 lumber camps in the same wood patch, it's just, and you don't make archers, it's just an invitation to be towered. And now, this is, you think this is good for MbL, but it's actually kind of bad. Because what happens is if Villese sees this tower, he can pick any spot for his. MbL actually sees that. There's not much he can do about it. And so far, Villese is probably thinking, what is he making here? Like, I don't understand. Now he'll see the scouts, and now he'll know. Okay, so MbL loses a villager. He will mop this up. Over here, he's got his militia and scouts still working around. The archers were there from Villese trying to track that. The tower will go up for Villese behind the wood line. That is a perfect tower. But MbL will have scouts coming forward now. Yeah. Now you see the spearmen with some archers, something that really can't be stopped by a few scouts, but it's messy stuff here. By the way, chat, are you there? Type a 1 in chat if you're alive and well. I just want to make sure. I think people are really focused right now, which is fair. Okay, you're alive? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. It's cool. Oh, go back to lurking. It's fine. Scouts come in. Kind of awkward. MbL's taking a lot of hits. He's abandoned this wood line to go over to this wood line. And he is on stone for some defensive towers. He did not get a single villager kill with that attack. And there's one villager very weak in there. Is MbL going to find her maybe? No, I don't think so. MbL really needs some skirmishers out. I think he's just going to play tower defense like the MbL of old. On the bright side, at least there's only 35 food left on the berries. He's dropping a tower early on near that gold. Now, with 5 scouts, you might consider fighting this.
No reason to be dead.
What's up, Darth Wololo Lord? Because you take out the spearman, you've got probably 3 scouts remaining for 4 archers. Oh, it'd be good for MbL if maybe his tower gets some hits in here. Let's see. Tower will go up. Oh, yeah, he takes the fight. That's really good fight for MbL. He'll kill this. MbL's got a fighting chance now. The spearman's gone down. The archers will go down. There, of course, will be more. But now he has 4 scouts to harass Villese with. Make it 5, actually. Villese just building forward houses with those villas, for those wondering. Villese back on berries now. Thankfully, with Japanese, the mills are very cheap. And Villese just knows that he needs to have at least 1 or 2 spearmen with his archers at all times as he's moving out. But will he be able to wall up before MbL gets there?
Force nothing.
Infamous Jeff, welcome back. Also, what's really nice about being in MbL's position is you kind of, in an ideal world, you probably get camel archers out in the mid game anyways. So the fact you're on stone means you might be able to eventually get there. Let's see if MbL can get any Vil snipes. I think he really is going to want 1, and then he'll run away, and good blocking, good kill, and he's out of here. A kill's nice, but what you really want is to keep these scouts running around his base for the next couple minutes to annoy him. Villese is just going to sit on the farms, which is so good. MbL doesn't have anything to kill those things. Here you see an archer. MbL will see it too. He takes a hit. Feels unlikely the scouts will get a kill. There's one here. Doink! Nope. Nope. And Villese with more spearmen, more archers. MbL might need more towers. We'll probably see a market at some point for MbL so he could buy his way up. Yo, Kaifos, thank you for the 10 gifted. Get some dodged in chat. Okay, he has skirms now. All right, so he has a few skirms. He's going to get fletching. MbL will feel like he's in an okay position. Close game to start off the show match. A little dicey, but that was essentially a base trade there, right? Where you had the militia on either side. MbL, I think, was worse off for a time, but has this knack for staying in games where it gets awkward. Whereas many other people would fall behind if the game gets messy. MbL gets stronger when the game gets messy. Still trying to keep his scouts alive here, as he should do. And he's not even getting fletching. I feel like he realizes that he just needs to scare this off. You see a stable for Villese, so Villese will probably add a scout to take out any skirms. But without fletching on 2 skirms, that's nothing. Kratos, if you get to 2k1, I'll 1v1 you. That's my promise to you. Thank you for 4 months. Scouts still looking around. There was a weak villager earlier. MbL's looking for them. Oh, I found one! Doink! Got him! My voice cracked like I'm a teenager in puberty, or hitting puberty. But, got him. Okay. Yu-Gi-Oh! Player Pro says, hey, T90, my gifted sub will disappear today, but I think I will renew it. Nice. Is that because I talked smack on Pokemon? Is that a thing? Do people who like Yu-Gi-Oh! Hate Pokemon, or is it more like, if you like Yu-Gi-Oh!, you like Pokemon too? Is there a rivalry there? Is it like AoE 3 people hating AoE 2 and AoE 2 people hating AoE 3? I love both? Okay, just curious. I mean, MbL, delaying his fletching will give him a really solid castle time. He will not have the stone to click up, though. He will not have a lot of military that really scales well into the next stage. So, the lack of numbers is going to hurt, and if Villese just makes a few knights as a buffer, his crossbowman will still probably find opportunities, though I say that, and MbL seems to have enough towers everywhere. I like both. Okay, I was just curious. That's all. Did MbL need to make 5 towers? Yeah, because he didn't have fletching. He undermade army so he could get castle age. I think he did. Now, this is a great spot for MbL. Villese thinks he's going to be sneaky here. And Villese is like, oh, I'm going to get so many kills. I'm so excited. And then really, MbL is like, surprise, buddy. I've got you trapped. And honestly, the best direction for Villese to run is probably back the way he came. And that means he's going to lose a lot of archers. Here he comes. He's now stuck behind here. The tower was up too, so good luck escaping. And MbL will love to see that. That changes the rest of this game. Maybe Villese could have waited, man. He's losing everything before his upgrades. That hurts to see.
A little Hatmanic.
And now, like, MbL's forte is booming under pressure. He's going to add a TC, and there will not be near as much pressure coming in towards him. Whereas if Villese had the crossbows with a few knights, I don't think MbL could ever realistically expand here. At least, you know, comfortably. And MbL now is adding a monastery. So MbL's thinking, well, knights are going to come in. I think he saw the stable too. Yeah, he knows the stable's there. So if he's expecting that, you know, this, of course, is awkward for him, but whatever. The towers are fighting. He didn't even click Elite Skirm. MbL's just going for eco, essentially. Is adding some knights, which is cheap with Berbers. And now the knights will have more success because there's not many crossbowmen out. I prefer MbL's position. Amazing how he can, like, you know how when I'm casting lower elo games, I say put yourself in a position to succeed, and usually that means take map control before you boom. The truth is it depends on the player, and in the case of MbL, he's just very good at inviting that pressure. But also there's a fine balance to it, right? He's still making knights, he's expanding his farms before he goes for a third TC. It's nothing crazy. Nothing crazy greedy. Knows he'll need some form of military and now sees the enemy has crossbows. But I think Villese also spotted that. If you see that many knights and you only have this many crossbows, I think you've got to be a little worried. But thank you, Obelan. Old man Joe Mama with 9 months says, congratulations, the baby has arrived. Well done, T90. Hey, thank you. Interesting that MbL's making a tower. Yeah, congrats on our Twitch baby. MbL microing the Vills away. Knights do not have upgrades yet. He's just trying to delay. What is that crap? Okay, he lost the villager. I was going to say, life is not fair if he doesn't lose at least one villager there. But he did such a good job not losing some of those. Because it's now 55 villagers versus 49. The population, 70 for both. And Villese is going for a third TC. Probably not ideal that all of his town centers are in the same spot of the screen, especially these two on the front, but then again, not ideal to have a forward gold. He's going to protect that. Now, imagine if Villese would have had that initial massive crossbows, right? He could be playing this game completely differently. I have someone asking about guard tower now as MbL's town centering over here? What? There is a neutral gold there, too. I mean, that's funny. So, I suppose guard tower could be worth it if a siege push were to come in, but I don't think guard tower is worth it just for a few knights and crossbows. You know, you don't need it. You're still not going to see crossbows go under this many towers. But if Mangonels come out, then yeah, add a university and get guard tower. I think MbL is going to add... Yeah, now you see Bloodlines and Chain Barding. I think MbL is going to add a few stables and go with a lot of aggression here, because the longer you wait, the more crossbows are going to mass, and the more time you give Villese to switch into pikes as well. And Japanese pikemen are insanely tough. One relic already for MbL as he realizes he's vulnerable here and nowhere else. So he's just wisely waiting on that hill. Guard towers look nicer? Yeah, they do. It's true. I'm keeping an eye on these towers over here, by the way. MbL is winning this tower war by 5 HP. It'll happen. That would be so funny if MbL's tower is remaining on 5 HP. Yeah, watchtowers have a lot less HP, so they're not near as capable as dealing with Mangonels. And here it is. So I think maybe we see guard tower. That's a lot of military and pikemen's in. Japanese pikemen attack faster. Honestly, the play here for MbL might be guard tower defense and then raid with knights and do not engage against his force. But he does not know that the siege will be coming out. Not seeing a university for him unless I'm missing it. Villese will see a monk there. Villese will back away, and here comes the Mangonel. Villese housed slightly, but no, he was adding houses, actually, as I say that. I like how Villese only has 4 on stone. I like how MbL only has 3 on stone. We don't need to rush to a castle in either position. But eventually you want to build up towards one. And it looks like MbL's monk went down. Now, he's also hiding the pikemen. He's not hiding the monks anymore, but Villese is hiding the pikeman, which is a really good decision. MbL has the economy lead, but he is so much under pressure right now. See the monks, he can see the crossbows. He can see the Mangonel now. Now let's see. Villese goes in with the knights. He gets one Vil kill. MbL probably just didn't he was focused over here, right? So he didn't know. Do we see a university here? Has to ungarrison the TC. Now he's going for a siege workshop. Now that works too. Just make your own siege. And here he comes with those knights. Now looking to Vilese's point of view, he doesn't really see a lot from MbL. He has to be alert. And he should go for conversion. Boom. Conversion. Conversion would really help, but he might not get it. He doesn't get it, and he has to house wall. There's still a hole. And if MbL runs in here, this could get really awkward really quick for both players. I like this from MbL. He switching the point of attack because he knew how awkward the front would be. And he's splitting up his knights now. And you look at the idle time from Villese that's skyrocketing. MbL also is going to dive in with everything. Now, the best players is while this is happening, they'll know Villese is distracted, and they're going to come out with their own Mangonels over here. Looking to repair. He's waiting for the moment. Villese having to do damage control big time over here and is going to lose a lot of Vils. And just the idle time is also insane. Let's see. Villese will know this. And Villese sees it and is microing away. So Villese is still going to keep his mask going here. I think he should go Redemption, honestly. I think if Villese has the monks, going for Redemption here, I mean, I know it's a lot of gold. But it might make sense to convert MbL's Mangonels. I think he wants to go Imperial, though. And if he wants to go Imperial, he'll save the gold. And if he tries to save the gold, that could happen. MbL's Knights have no way to escape here. So they should just buy time and force reactions. And they're doing that. And they'll find the wood line. Oh, Villese! He's going to be Villese soon. As so many villagers have gone down here. MbL now has a 20 Vil lead. Here you have Mangonels hitting because Villese is distracted. There is a really important castle going up there, though. And MbL is going to come in with knights. Now, again, he knows about the pikemen, but he doesn't know that more could come out here. Takes out some monks, takes out the Mangonel. This overall will be a pretty good fight for MbL, but I don't think he will have enough remaining to stop the castle. It is 30 military for Villese. Villese is imping. MbL is not. And that's a castle on an all-important hill. I would say that, I mean, MbL has some crazy expansion going now, but MbL will struggle so much against Trebs and Halberdiers. So the thing about Camel Archers, Blazing Scrubs, I'm not calling you out here. I'm just using your point as something to discuss. Camel Archers are really kind of bad here in this situation because you need multiple castles. You need to get all these upgrades on them, like Fletching. I guess he has. Bodkin. To switch into Camel Archers, you really need a lot of time. And you need castles safe. So I think for the time being, you've got to trade with something else. And maybe you try and open with Elite Skirm. Sometimes what players will do is they'll go for Hussar and Elite Skirm to open, and then they'll save their gold. And with the space that the trash units give them, they'll switch into gold techs. Elite Skirm makes maybe the most sense if you're expecting Pikeman Crossbow to be upgraded. And MbL just sold all of his stone, I think. Oh, no, never mind. He didn't sell it. He is making a castle here. 126 villagers versus 85. Now, if you look at how MbL's played this game, he realizes that fighting this area is going to be a pain, right? By the way, tower update. MbL still has a 5 HP lead over there. But yeah, so he's starting to expand. He actually got in with knights. MbL has the eco lead. He also has mobility. So he's using that really well. And I think he will do that more with a light cav raid on the side. He also has a lot of gold income and a lot of gold secured, despite not having this gold on the front, which is his, and this stone. Because he found this gold over here. Also has a TC on this gold. And he will take out these villagers and take out that tower now. But Villese, he's getting Arbalest, and he's massing Japanese pikemen, and he's making a trap. Now, it's important that Villese sees the castle there. He does not. But any direction he sends that trap, he probably will see it, so. Look at the eco idle time for Villese. I mean, MbL's isn't the most impressive, but he has 40 more villagers, so that makes sense. Okay, Villese found out the hard way there was a castle there. And he's like, all right, that's my target then. as he wants to expand over here. Now, check this out from MbL. Great scouting from MbL. This is the type of late game stuff I'm so impressed by. It's so cool to see. By the way, I'm pretty sure I saw MbL click champion. But I think he's going to think better of it. He clicked... not champion, sorry. He probably clicked Man-at-Arms.
Greetings, fellow mammals.
Thinking that he could go champion against Halbs, but then he saw Arbalest and realized that that would be a mistake. 145 fills for MbL. If he holds, his eco is going to spike. It's going to be crazy, and he's going to start off with some raids on this side. Villese needs to defend at home, probably with walls, and continue that push in the front to have a chance here. Will secure this gold for himself. The relic count, 2-1. Military count, Villese with the lead. Villese with his outpost will now know. Now you have to make sure you're not over-chopping. MbL will gladly just run units past your walls here. It's really annoying to be in Villese's position if MbL's playing it right. MbL's getting chemistry. Now, something that he could do is go for bombard cannons when chemistry completes and shoot these trebuchets down. Thing is, though, chemistry takes a long time to complete. It's just now going to complete. Bombard cannons are expensive. And Villese has not let up with the trebs. He has consistently produced. He could have gone for conscription from that castle, and that means your military units produce faster, but that takes a lot of time. So MbL's sinking all these resources into trying to save this hill. Trying to raid here. Villese has got a pikeman there. He might need a few houses there. Villese could do this! Even though some light cav are streaming through, Villese could do this. But MbL, as he could lose this castle, bombard cannon on the way. I think he loses that, right? I'd be very surprised if he saves that. He's sending light cav this way. Villese tracking that too. 160 pop versus 200 pop, but MbL has 150 villagers. That's a bit much. Guess he can afford to lose some, and Villese cannot afford to allow his trebuchets to go down. He's going in after the bombard cannon. He's repairing his treb, and he takes out the bombard cannon, buying precious time. MbL has a lot of skirms here. How did that treb go down? I think MbL's trebs targeted that. MbL still selling and then buying stone. He needs this hill. Another bombard cannon's on the way. He's still trying to raid. He is finding some success with these stables on the side. Here, he'll find some success for sure. At this point, MbL has probably sunk a castle's worth of stone into saving this castle here. Can he keep it up? Bombard cannon on the way. MbL has to buy more stone to repair this. He's done it again. Still has 4 trebs to take out, guys. All right, Villese is using all of his trebs to go after the bombard cannon. That's actually good for MbL. MbL could just wheel this guy around and whoop. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Villese is behind, most certainly, because of the eco. But if he can get his food eco rolling and switch into something that could take out skirms. MbL only has skirms on a few light cav right now. As he takes out a treb and boom, he's still doing it. Oh, man. MbL has officially held what a hold. Back away now, Villese. And the thing is, guys, he backs away. You lose your castle. You lose your position. You give MbL time to now make camel archers. And while champion would probably be great for Japanese against skirms, camel archer and skirm, or I don't know, maybe hand cannons and skirm, that is going to be a problem. What a moment. 162 villagers for MbL. And here he comes. You could just go light cav skirm and just save all your gold too. Because you probably only want to start spending your gold on camel archers when you can really get the mass up. Now, Villese still has some golds. If you look at the relic count, he does have 1. There's another one down here. His 111 villagers are working pretty well. This is an overboom and a half from MbL, who loses a bombard cannon. Now we'll see two-handed swordsman. And I see him adding more ranges, and he's getting thumb ring, but he's not producing camel archers yet. Now, truthfully, he doesn't, like, you won 3 or 4 castles when you switch into camel archers, right? So the fact that he repaired that castle for so long means that maybe camel archers isn't realistic for him. as he is still trying to raid, which is important, and he's finding success. And see, with the Eco KD, he's killed almost 50 villagers in this game. Here he comes into, as he's trying to defend this point, he's raiding Villese in the middle, and he has villagers to lose, certainly, if Villese starts to push, but Villese still can't push up that hill. MbL's Trebs even raining down fiery rocks. Hussars will have full upgrades. MbL has 64 farms, so certainly no shortage of food to make skirms and Hussar. I think he's still just going to have enough to hold the middle, which might be all he needs if he's raiding elsewhere. What a game, though. I mean, seriously. I mean, very impressive, and it still feels like there's a chance for Villese, though when you see that pop and you see MbL now pushing up the middle, you start to think less and less of a chance. I would probably need to have like 30-40 champs with a few trebs to back it up. MbL's happy to just use skirms and Hussars. And he's just using his gold for siege and for upgrades. And yep, the GG was probably called, and fun little game here. Now, oftentimes when I see games like this, I really want to know what it would have been like if there wasn't a neutral gold in one area. And in this game, there was a 3-tile gold in the north, which MbL was able to get. Keep in mind, he'd been unable to take this gold and this stone safely throughout most of the game. Now, granted, he probably would have looked around, maybe, found it wherever it was. But him finding that gold and using that gold really did help him. And he bought himself precious time after Villese hit the Imperial Age and had the trebs out. Some people are asking for a tower update. Guys, you must not have seen it, but MbL at one point had sent some knights over there. I did show it briefly. But yeah, if you look at the difference in the Imperial Age times, Villese was an Imperial Age faster. I think Villese knew he was behind in economy. So he did the right thing to try and snowball a push there on the hill. It just didn't work. MbL had more of every resource. Even though it wasn't the prettiest KD ever, and he didn't really have a massive gold units, he still made it count. In terms of what Villese could have possibly done differently in this game, I didn't bookmark it, but I think it was around, would have been around this point if Capture Age lets me go back. He looped in archers back here. Remember that? He looped in archers. Maybe it was 22 minutes. Yeah, here they end up coming, right? And he runs around. If he would have had this mass, I think this would have been a very different game in early Castle Age. He ran through, hoping to be sneaky with his Castle Age upgrades. And he lost everything there before his Castle Age upgrades. And that allowed MbL to expand. Whereas otherwise, like, MbL would have had to get Elite Skirm. He would have needed more knights. MbL, very fortunate to find that. But also great play, with the towers and the positioning. And that's just MbL stuff. GG. All right. That one's heading to YouTube, man. That was fun. I mean, I hate to play it, but it's always interesting when you have two people with important castles that are probably going to change that game. If MbL would have lost his castle, I could see Villese possibly having momentum there. Score 1-0 for MbL. Knowing them, they probably started the next game or are about to, so I'm going to look for that. And they do have a Civ draft here. I'll show you if they haven't started the next game. Okay. Yeah, they haven't launched yet. So as far as the draft's concerned, this is what we're looking at, everybody. The MbL chose Berbers first game. Here it is. And then Villese went with the Japanese, and Villese lost with that. So you can go for any of these civilizations. They globally banned a bunch. And they're not using all of the civilizations for the draft either. Like civs like Lithuanians and Cumans were not even available. So some classic civs here. Shouldn't they be playing on Scandinavia? Well, that's a fair point. Because it is a Norwegian versus a Finnish player. So that would mean that USA Cup would have to be played on Texas. I'm not a fan of that. No, thank you. I'll stick with Arabia. Appreciate it. F47 is trying to use the draft command. I'm just going to delete that command. If you guys want the draft, I might as well edit it, right? People rely so heavily on commands, and then crap isn't updated, and then I feel bad. So I'd rather just not have them. Like, jeez. But also, I'll be casting by myself, and people will just come in. They don't say hi. They don't say what's up, chat, and they're like, co-caster command. Rame, you're the problem. I saw this yesterday. It was you too, dude. Rame was going through all my useless commands yesterday in the middle of the stream. I actually watched the VOD because I was looking through some things to get some stuff to YouTube, and I saw you were doing that, and it bothered me. After the stream, I was like, oh, this guy. It's not a big deal. There was an error editing the command. Error command does not exist. Did someone delete it? That's funny. Okay, here, mods. Sally, thank you. Here, I'll just link it. If you want to look at the draft yourself. But by the way, when it comes to the draft, you don't need to rely on a command. You can just go to awe2cm.net and you'll see it there in the recents. Okay, score 1-0. And it looks like they have started. And it will be Teutons versus Ethiopians. Nice. All right, you know what I need to do here is I need to do this. We need to go in here and say it's a best of 7. We're going to say it's a 100. We're going to go BO7. Wait. Now, you know what? This will end up being fine. Welcome, ladies and gents, to a 1v1. And this is in a $750 show match between two star players. MbL with a star civilization. He's playing as the Teutons in the yellow. And he's actually picked Teutons in a spot where they can struggle just a little bit. Teutons tend to struggle versus mobile civs and archer civs. Ethiopians aren't necessarily mobile, but they do have fantastic archers. We'll see what happens here. Now, the players are kind of close to each other if you look at the base layout. Also, there's some elevation, plenty of gold between them, so expect map control to be important. I do really like Ethiopians against Teutons, and I know Villese is sick with archers, so I would say that MbL will struggle a little. I love his map. The berries are on the back. The gold's on the back. The walling is so easy for him. Whereas everything seems a little bit more forward for Villese. Though, granted, he still has back stones if need be. You know, maybe Teutons will go for a tower rush. I don't know. But Banderdash, it's best of 7, yes. From what I've been told, it's a best of 7. Though MbL didn't know the Civ settings 5 minutes before the show match started today, so I don't think anyone really knew everything. All right, chat. I get that you want to either annoy me with it or you're just now aware that there's a lot of commands out there. But can we not spam commands? Thank you. Would appreciate that. So this is how I would approach things if I was in MbL's position. I think that what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to get some momentum rolling before the archers come out. So I personally, even though it doesn't really benefit Teutons too much, I would probably go for a pre-milled rush. Get militia out and try and get some type of an advantage there. Now, it's kind of tough against Ethiopians because they're probably prone to do that as well. But wall or just, protect yourself from what you know is to come in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's being greedy with walls or getting some military out early. Here comes a scout from Villese. Now, he might be wondering what MbL is up to. And he'll see... Normally, you check to see how many on wood. And he'll see 4. And he's like, 4 on wood. What does that mean for him? And then you have a mill. So that also tells him that MbL will not be going for a pre-milled rush. Which he's not doing either. And MbL also scouting super early. Also sees the villager. So Villese is going to save the vill. I guess MbL thought twice about losing scout HP there. Here he goes back. Sees the vill. And Villese is just passing anyways. So both players have seen the important things here. They know that there will not be a barracks going up before the mill. A lot of age is about time windows at this level, right? If it's a pre-milled rush, the militia are going to be hitting you around 8 minutes. If it's a post-milled rush, the militia are going to be hitting you around 9 minutes. If it's man-at-arms, it'll be hitting you, or if it's scouts, things will be hitting you around 10:30, 11 minutes. If it's man-at-arms, maybe a bit earlier than that. So, like, what you see can let you know what to expect and how to prep your base. And in MbL's case, I think he was happy to not see the barracks yet so he can wall. And as I said before, I think his map is really good for this. Cool. So, Teutons have very cheap farms. You could conceivably just go for scouts here, as long as you can get walls down. And then maybe Villese is not going to be happy to see that, because Villese did a full tour of MbL's base. And he knows that there's safe woodlines in there, berries, and gold. MbL's base is honestly amazing. There's the barracks for Villese anyways. Villese will be clicking up to feudal soon. MbL will do the same. MbL, no loom. No, he does. He's getting loom. Now, that villager could be killed. But Villese knows that MbL might be getting loom right now, and he doesn't want to lose HP. Because MbL could save the vill, and then this scout would be weak. So, smart play from both. And yeah, guys, the scouting's just so good. MbL knows the barracks will probably go up, so he's looking for it. Villese looking for it. And this is what I love about watching top-level players, is they know what to pay attention to. But that barracks timing does tell Villese that MbL's probably not going for scouts. Because with the scout build, what would probably happen is you have 2 lumber camps, then you make the barracks about halfway to feudal, then you wait for that stable. You wouldn't have a barracks at this stage. So Villese is just going to camp it out, and he's waiting for a flag. Now he sees the militia. Does he see the militia? Okay. Guys, why? I don't know. It must be bored. Don't, please. My mods don't want to time people out. Just don't be silly, please. I'm not trying to ruin your experience here. But it's like a fun thing when I'm like, please don't do this. Then everyone does it, you know? Please, my mods don't want to do this stuff. Don't be silly. We don't make jokes on this stream. We don't have fun on this stream. This is a no fun, no enjoying the content type of stream. Best type of content, Kappa. Interesting decision from Villese. The way he quick-walled that's interesting. Gonna hit the... Oh, he gets the palisade down, but there's still a lot of weak ones here. Now, he is going for man-at-arms. MbL didn't check to see if the barracks had a flag on it, but I think he knows. And MbL for now has chosen not to research the man-at-arms upgrade, probably because he doesn't think he'll break through. Behind this, Villese, no archer range yet. Villese has taken some hits on his scout. Here come the man-at-arms. I mean, MbL's not going to be too worried about this, right? At this point, he's walled. So while he could lose this fight, it's not as if the follow-up for Villese is going to be all that strong. Especially because MbL's scout is strong, I think he's going to be loving life here. Cool. There's no real opportunity for MbL to go around there. Villese is going to lose the scout. Oh, yeah. MbL's happy. MbL is probably jumping up and down giddy like. He's been able... Oh, he's just now getting his wood upgrade, which is late. But he's been able to get so many farms up with Teutons. And this is why I don't think you have to go scouts with Teutons. When you're going for man-at-arms into archers, typically the farm timings are really important to be able to have a fast castle age. So you can go into a range here, and you can be satisfied because your eco is pretty solid. Teutons are definitely underrated. Yo, Xenon, thank you for the prime. Thank you, Micro Beast, for the prime. And we'll see a mill from Villese. Interesting. So he only thought twice about it. He was tempted to make a mill there. Maybe he still will. I don't know. I expect this game to be pretty passive from here. Villese doesn't have a scout now. So MbL can just check to see what's going on everywhere. Where is MbL's scout? Oh, he's over here. Okay. I mean, he could kill a wall villager. But there's a spearman there. Villese knows that he's exposed. I think MbL is just going to scout the whole map. And MbL is, as he's lost some man-at-arms, probably just going to stay defensive with his skirms. There's no reason to be super offensive, right? If you know man-at-arms are out, you probably don't want to move out too far with your skirms. Just wait till archers arrive, and then you'll be happy. Oh, this is such an annoying position to be in if you're Villese. Now MbL's starting scout is here, and he could kill that villager. Doink, doink, doink.
Still here from HC4.
That was really well played, though, from Villese, just to hide him.
Ow.
He's safe now. Okay. Doink again. MbL, stop being annoying. Even I'm getting annoyed. Oh, now we're going to run away.
Less than 3.
Oh, this is so good. Here come the men-at-arms, and here come the archers. Now, MbL is probably expecting the archers. He doesn't react just yet, though. But also, this is why you don't want to move forward without fletching. Villese, had he had fletching, probably would have killed the Vill. Villese distracted. Villese walling. Villese just walking to take his ostriches, which is cool. And now we see another range from MbL. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting the 2-range commitment, but he is really worried about this. Now, I think he's going to go for a big trap, though. Villese is thinking, oh, we got this. We're pressuring him. He's forcing down a range. He might think that MbL doesn't have a range yet. He might think that MbL's been extra greedy. Surprise! 1 archer's down. 1 archer's down. It's not the end of the world for Villese. That range is 175 wood. And with Teutons, that could mean a lot of farms for MbL. Plus, Teutons don't really have the best ranged units long term, so that's fine. MbL Scout is still around here. There has not been a single villager that has died yet this game, but that villager is on 3 HP. Let's follow MbL's journey back to the Vill. MbL Scout, running around, running around. He's moving forward with his skirms. Okay, he's going to be looking. As he runs by, he's going to be looking for the HP. He probably remembers it was a female villager. He sees that one's weak. That would be 2 hits, though. Still moving around. MbL's going to get this Vill. I'm telling you. Still moving around. Villese. Pick them back to the TC. MbL still moving around. Scout's weak. He sees her. Nope. What a save from Villese, and the Scout goes down. That's funny. Villese knew what was going on there, man, and now MbL has killed the archers. That's high-level stuff, man. And okay, so we're seeing the difference in the total food eco now. MbL has armor, and he also has attack on these skirms, so there's no way Villese will ever want to move out. That said, this isn't an invitation for Villese to make a knight in the next stage to kill the skirms. And MbL is going to click up. I'm curious to see what MbL does here, because you always are going to expect at least a stable from the enemy in Villese's position. Also, I hate that stable position with a passion, because that's a perfect farm spot. I don't understand that. But yeah, maybe he wants to hide it. I would place it over here instead. But anyways, you kind of know that that's going to happen. So do you make archers now? I think he's making too many skirms personally. But MbL is addicted to skirmishers. Because you could mix in like 15 crossbows and then the knights wouldn't be as effective. Ethiopian knights are not that strong. But maybe MbL is just gonna... He's just gonna be happy with a faster castle age and try and boom. Feels like an MbL thing. To make only skirmishers and then just boom. Actually, Ethiopians don't get bloodlines. So if you get enough skirms, and MbL is going to have like, I think 20 of them, you could probably take out the knights. So you need 2 or 3 knights to be able to push out across the map, and then we're going to need to see Villese go for crossbow bodkin and really punish MbL for what I assume will be very defensive boomy play. I do not think this will be offensive at all with these resources. Running out here. Okay, so this is important. He's going to town center this stone, which also gives him vision if anything ever loops around to his back wood line. That will give him stone long term to make a defensive castle if need be, which is important if you're trying to be greedy and boom, which he's going to do. Do Ethiopians mix in camel or do they stay crossbow arb? Yeah, Grim, good question. So in this situation, the most important thing when you're going stable edition is taking care of the skirms. If you want something to deal with knights, you have your crossbows. You definitely don't want to add camels because the camels even worse against any ranged units. Okay, we got houses here for Villese, who I think is expecting some pressure. But MbL is just going to go for 3 TCs. I do like this TC too. I think I would have preferred it here, but that's obviously more risky. Worse versus skirms, but better versus knight with more melee, right? Yeah, but you're going to lose your camels as they're attacking because of the amount of skirms. And like, in my experience with Ethiopians, it just always feels so weak to ever add camels. Plus, if you think about like the long-term effects of it, you always still want to prioritize crossbows as a counter to everything. So just focus on, this is your best unit, focus on taking care of the units that counter this. Camels are so weak and also they have less attack too against the skirm, right? So it's not just the lack of pierce armor, but they have less base attack. All right. MbL should have a boom lead. You see how greedy he's played this though? I probably would have taken more damage to the earlier attacks. I don't know, but this is a pretty good base. But this is just to delay elite skirm until after 3 TCs is just such a boomer thing, man, as he loses 1 Vil. Yeah, plus, as Morton says, you know, Teutons do have the extra melee armor too, so going camels is just not a great decision here. Now, MbL probably expecting the stable, like we said earlier. Let's see how these skirmishers do against knights. He's got the protection of his town centers. He does have full armor for his skirms, so they're actually pretty good against the crossbows. The crossbows only do 1 damage a hit. Now, this is an invitation for a siege workshop, possibly, and there it is. But when you're in Vilese's position, you'll know that MbL will have a much better eco than you now, which really sucks. So you're always tempted to go for town centers, too. Okay, MbL still sitting at home, making skirms. This is what MbL's been known for years. You see chain barding from Villese. I think he'll go for 1 or 2 Mangonels and then get that 3rd TC rolling so he's not too far behind economically. 2 stable knights is a lot, though. It's a big commitment. MbL really wants to get an outpost up there so we can see what's coming in. I think he's sensing a siege workshop. Would definitely make sense for that to happen in this position as MbL is about to get housed. So he will drop down some houses behind this. He doesn't have that much stone in the bank because he was pulling stone miners to make farms. But that's kind of common. You don't want to have 12 on stone at this stage. So he's just trying to find a balance there. Think it would make sense for MbL to have his own siege workshop. But if you just go siege, the knights will dive to take out your siege. So you almost need monks and siege. And with the way these things path in between the palisade and the house, I'm just waiting. Okay, now he sees it. That outpost was super important. I was just going to say how bad it would be for the skirms if they're wedged between and the Mangonel shows up. And interesting, now MbL's going for a tower, which tells me he probably will try and go for guard tower then. Villese pulling to the wood line. 1 villager goes down. He will now know that MbL's got a stone out there. Tower will probably go up. MbL needs to back away, which he does. He'll have a monk. He will have a Mangonel eventually as he loses some Vils, but still has a 20 villager lead. Villese going to 3 TCs just now. It is getting rather difficult for him to do a lot of damage, but he's controlling the game and forcing reactions from MbL, which leads to messy situations like, I don't know, having 32 on wood and 22 on food when you'd want to have more farmers than that. Skirms. Boom! Oh, it's a big shot. And MbL, again, he's trying to sort out his food eco. He added farms during that. And now he's adding another tower. So, truth be told, MbL has invited all this pressure on himself. It is kind of how Teutons have to play in this matchup, I feel. To gain an economy lead and play towards their advantages. MbL possibly get to guard tower, and can Villese possibly click up to Imperial soon? He stopped producing a lot of knights.
Hi.
I like how he stopped producing knights. I think what I would do in this spot is I would make more knights. I'd make like 10 more knights, and then I wouldn't have the resources to imp, and go for fast arbalest and fast bombard cannon, which I think is Vilese's choice here. Because it feels like it's easy to justify making more knights when the enemy only has towers, skirms, and Mangonels. But someone like MbL is probably going to get guard tower, have a few monks around, have the TCs, and then the knights don't do anything. Yeah, the goal here is to go fast imp, arbalest, bombard cannon, and maybe a castle drop with trebs for Villese. Really like how MbL has gone for towers. Really like how he's placed outposts. It has helped him judge these situations before it gets too crazy. And now this TC is under threat. MbL saving up to imp. MbL gets a shot off, and that was so good. This is what I mean, man. I would, like, MbL would find a way to defend from more knights, just as he's finding a way to defend from this, which is why Villese is going for the proper decision. Go imp. Here are the additional ranges. This makes sense. While Teuton skirmishers have worked for now, Teuton skirmishers do not benefit from bracers, so they are not great long term. And MbL, with all this food eco now, is going to be on his way to Imp. And he's about a minute behind, and he's going to try and tech switch into Knights, which takes time, upgrades. And the most important thing that takes time is Plate Barding and Cavalier. It is a lot faster to research Bracer and Arbalest than it is to research Cavalier and Plate Barding. And you would need Plate Barding against these Arbs. Or against the crossbows. This is a really good game. How good is Guard Tower? It's situational, but very good in these types of situations, right? It's basically your best stage to get Guard Tower is normally against Mangonel pushes. Or I guess if you have forward towers and enemies trying to take out your towers, then get Guard Tower. Very boomy game with the Teutons. MbL does not have a castle because he made so many towers. What's MbL's long-term plan? Paladin. Because investing further into skirmishers is kind of a waste of food for your cav. Well, actually it depends on how many he makes. I think Teutons get the last armor upgrade at least for the skirms. So maybe skirm Cavalier. But yeah, Paladin would be your best option. Is keep ever worth it? It's definitely worth it. In a lot of situations. If you have the towers anyways. Hey, MbL will see that Villese is an Imp. I'm surprised Villese isn't sending the Knights forward. He is now. Villese with a forward siege workshop. So chemistry takes the longest time to research out of all the things we're seeing come in right now. But you know, Bracer and Arbalest with the hill means that MbL's skirms and Knights are all going to get wrecked. He doesn't have even the Castle Age armor yet. MbL could be in big trouble. Everything melts to these Arbs now. For the next couple minutes, everything melts to these Arbs. And now Villese is going to drop a castle on that hill. MbL's expanding to another TC, so he's just booming and hoping he can survive as he's going for Onager. Now, Onager could do it. Teutons do have Siege Onager. That's probably unrealistic if you're making other forms of military. But the thing about Onager is, it is countered by Bombard Cannon and players with really good micro. Villese is one of those. Here's the overall KD. There's the overall army value. Very expensive armies for both players. The percentage there is just the percentage of gold costs associated with the army. Like to see a Bombard Cannon. The Bombard Cannon needs to be coming out now. But I think Villese is a little confused. I think that... I mean, the siege is late. But I think that he doesn't necessarily know what MbL is committing to. He sees stables, but he doesn't see knights. Maybe he's just expecting MbL to be massing some cav back here. But I think the Bombard Cannons being late could hurt him. Now, he doesn't really have the eco to make a tech switch into Halb. So he's going to hope that Arbs, for now, are going to be enough. And once he gets to 120 bills and starts to float some res, I think he'll go for it. The first Bombard Cannon's out now. MbL's Onager, I don't think will contribute a lot. But, man, does he have pop. He just has towers and eco everywhere, and Villese just wasn't able to get siege out yet. Okay, so I think this is at a point where Villese knows he's going to be rolled if he moves out away from his castle. He knows he's behind. So, I think what he does is he holds the hill for as long as possible while he tries to get Halbs in too, and then he's going to just move Knights over and try and keep MbL defensive for a lot longer. MbL is going to try and pounce on this at some point. And honestly, MbL should probably peel away from some Cavalier to run to Villese's base and see if Villese is open. But if you're worried about this push, it could be seen as risky. Now, Teutons do not get husbandry. So these Cavalier are very slow compared to other Cavalier. And MbL is starting to lose production now. Yeah, again, Villese knew he was going to get rolled. So he stayed at the top of the hill without moving. But that's a lot of military from MbL. Just look at the amount of HP here. The Cavalier! And the skirms still have upgrades from Castle Age. They do have ballistics. So I think MbL is going to be happy with this. He has 140 vills. He's getting to the top of the hill with this group. And Villese is going to lose everything here. It just comes back to the boomy defensive approach that MbL adopted that he chose to do in Castle Age. He successfully held with the 20-30 Vills, and Villese couldn't get enough to ever push. It's a tough one because I think some people are going to think that Villese should have moved out and done more damage with Imp. I think he could have moved around a little more, maybe pressured this TC, but reality is he knew that if he moved far away from that castle, things would be bad, and guess what? Things are bad anyways. Things are bad anyways. Could have hopped into the castle, I guess, with some arbs, but it doesn't really change the situation. MbL is going to be running over to Villese's base now, and MbL with 62 farms, 35 on gold, Paladin on the way, has enough skirmishers around the ranges, and the skirms will contribute against any halves which are lacking upgrades. It's going to be tough for Villese. And this is a problem with the Ethiopians. They're a little too one-sided. Their eco bonus isn't insane, though it is helpful in small spikes. So in this matchup, Ethiopians really need to take advantage of early feudal, early castle. And it was MbL who had better early feudal, and early castle. 50 seconds away from Paladin now. And against the Halbs, since Teuton Knights have extra melee armor, the Halbs honestly just, unless you have a ton of them, they don't contribute as much as you would like. I do kind of like how MbL is probably prepping something over here. Yeah, look at this. You see how patient he's been? As he's forcing some reactions from Villese. He's got some bombard cannons, and he's ready to push this. He has not forgotten about this area. He's bought himself a lot of time. Now, Villese is going to get a town center down on that gold. This 52 military for Villese. A lot of pointy boys now. Upwards of 20 arbs and halberdiers. And MbL misclicked his skirms against the TC, so he's going to lose this here. MbL realizing then how important it is that he does continue to push this castle, sends the paladins in to get the repair villagers. That's a clutch play, because Villese is going to send everything he has to that hill. MbL's not allowing him to repair that and buy time. Both players actually have 180 pop, which is nuts. But which population is stronger? I feel like if you've got paladins, your pop's always going to feel stronger. But then again, MbL only has 18 paladins. Does he want to mix in more skirmishers? It kind of looks like he does as he's adding more ranges. Taking an okay fight, but Villese coming forward now to repair the castle. Ugh, man, it's kind of awkward with the bombard cannons. Villese microing away. Ethiopian arbs. The game isn't over yet. Look at the military count. MbL probably was confident with his position, but Villese has kicked it into overdrive with production. And just don't leave your hill yet. Can he leave his hill? I don't know. Look at Villese's point of view here. Look at what he's up against. Paladins, skirms, bombard cannons, onagers. It's so tough to engage against the siege with what he has. He needs his own bombard cannons. If he loses this castle, MbL can suddenly take the north of the map with his mobility. And if MbL switches focus again, we saw what happened when he went out with paladins before. Okay, well, halberdiers going in. Villese microing away from the onager. Onagers have gone down. The skirms are melting. Teuton skirms very weak. Villese takes the score lead. It's 182 pop for both. Villese getting masonry. And these paladins just can't get in close anymore to these numbers. So many bombard cannons, though, from MbL. So many bombard cannons. The micro from Villese is sick. I think MbL needs to be hitting the arbalest. If he can get one or two big shots. Oh, God, he got the shots. He got the shots there, and maybe now he has enough paladins? Remember what happened last time. MbL was able to clear up the arbalest when the paladins got in close. He has 12 paladins on your screen right now. Is that enough? It's certainly enough to allow the bombard cannons to do their thing. Villese hops out with his own bombard cannon and misses. He actually has two here. Now he hops into the castle. He lost those two. So, it's important to note in this Civ matchup that when looking at military count, in the Teuton situation, if you have even military count to the enemy, you have the lead. Ethiopian military is lower HP, but you can mass it a lot easier than Paladin bombard cannon. So, it being 40 military for both right now means that MbL is going to have the superior military. 0 relics, but it makes sense when people would have to focus on all of this. Here comes MbL. He knows the gold's over there, so he'll focus there. Happy to have his hill, I'm sure. He's all over this gold. He's also going to be all over this stone, so they both have a neutral. Villese is not finished yet. Villese has to back up, and he's massing a lot of halbs and has decent resources, right? This would definitely be a stage where you probably want to start getting relics, and I think Villese will do so because he has a monastery there. This doesn't seem like it's a great fight for MbL's paladins.
T90 salute.
And you win that fight if you're MbL, but you lose a lot of your palace. Here, Villese reacted, now adding barracks on this side. It's the ball of arbs that's the most important thing here. If Villese can keep this ball... First off, he needs to get a few more, but if he can keep the ball alive... Teuton skirmishers. They do have armor, but they're still Teuton skirms. But guys, I would argue that having the final armor upgrade is more important than having bracer. Like, I guess it depends on the situation. But the big thing about skirms is that they tank fire. So if you have the final armor upgrade, but you don't have bracer, I mean, these skirms are going to tank, which is all you really want anyways. At least they're going to get in close. If you have the attack, as that bombard cannon goes down, if you have the attack, but you lack the armor, arbs are going to destroy you anyways. MbL's making scouts! He's running out of gold, guys! He's running out of gold! Teuton's the only civ in the game to not get light cav, but have a stable. So, what's funny about that is, you actually get full blacksmith upgrades on your scouts. So Teuton scouts are better than... I think they're better than Korean Hussar, actually. Now, speaking of stables, I think this is an invitation to get some light cav out if you're Ethiopians. But you don't get the final armor upgrade, and you also don't get bloodlines. It's not too great there. MbL still has a lot of bombard cannons. Getting some hits in here. He's happy to throw away the skirms, too. I think Villese really need... Maybe he's thinking that Teuton skirmishers are worse than they really are. A lot of people think that Teutons are worse than they really are. Look at the mass and the reinforcements from MbL, who does need to get some type of a push here. I mean, that's a crucial corner for farming space. There's a relic there and also that gold. He's confident to snowball push in the middle. Yeah, the skirms really counter the halbs and the arbs, if you think about it. And as long as you have some bombard cannons there, too, things are not going to be going so bad as MbL gets crenellations. The crenellations will give the Teuton castles tons of range, which is huge. And actually, that might be checkmate. Because Villese is probably going to want to make bombard cannons to push the castle, but Teuton castles outrange bombard cannons. He would need to make trebs, and he won't have a castle to make trebs. I mean, he'll have this one. But yeah, I just think that Villese is a little late to getting a tech switch in. Here he goes with light cav. MbL has 135 villagers. He did take most of that golden stone, so I think he'll be okay with that. How do you push? How do you raid, even, if MbL gets castles and towers going? Another great game from MbL, but a good game from Villese. And again, the big thing in this situation is Ethiopian should have the edge early feudal, early castle, and MbL was able to outplay Villese and get that, and then get to this stage. He's raiding with scouts! It's a 54-minute scout rush! All right. I once saw a game where it was like Teutons versus... Shoot, I forget the other civ. But it was Jordan versus, I think, MbL and Baltic. And it went over an hour. And it got to a point where Jordan had 80 scouts on the map. He was just raiding with scouts. And the players almost ran out of wood. It was ridiculous. It was a few years ago. It was when Jordan was back the first time. Not the initial... It was the first Jordan back, not the third one, which is what he's in the midst of right now. Not the real Jordan is back. But yeah, man, I mean, MbL in this position will probably just start to switch locations with raids. He's doing that. Villese getting smothered here by the power of Teutons. MbL with more military. MbL doesn't have any relics, but doesn't really seem to care. He's going to get one. There you go. Feels like he could go Skirm Scout and have some success here. Well, he already is, MbL. And Villese pop. I mean, it's manageable, but he's lost so many castles and TCs and crucial eco areas, and he doesn't even have Hussars here. I've seen Ethiopian Hussars be very valuable in games, but look how weak they are without Bloodlines and without armor. You need one or the other, guys. You either need to have Bloodlines without armor, or you need to have armor without Bloodlines. But I'd prefer to have Brit and Light Cav, for example, than Hussars from Ethiopians. Villese went, he made the right call in Castle Age. He made the right call in Imp. I think that early maybe he could have pushed a TC or two with the Bombard Cannons. He was really late to the Bombard Cannon. But reality is MbL was just so far ahead. Here you start to see some Hussars getting into MbL's eco. You know when you have Teuton Scouts running through your base that things aren't looking too good. And I think Villese is going to call it here. If you look at his point of view, he's backed into a corner. He's going to get hit here and lose his TC, and he's going to know now that it's GG. I encourage him to play on, you know, if he feels he's got an opportunity, of course. But when you start getting hit on all sides, he's got 3 TCs. I guess he's expanding his eco down here. So he thinks that maybe there's a chance if that eco stays alive. MbL now with 2 relics, probably will be getting more. Scouts killing villagers, and yeah, this is the big one here. Villese down to 120 pop. High-level players normally start to call it in close games at around... Or at a high level, you'll normally see them wait until around 110, 100. If I ever dip below 100 in Imp, that's when I always call the GG. That's kind of my rule of thumb. Not quite there yet for Villese. And he only sees Skirms and Scouts, so he thinks that Hussar would be good. And it's okay. They're just so... No, it's just bad. It's not okay. This is bad. Like, it looks good. Trying to think of a real life comparison to an Ethiopian Hussar. I guess it's like if you ever show up to a pickup game in some type of sport. I know, sports, right? Not exactly appealing to my audience, Kappa. I'm sure there's plenty. I could be a nerd and I can play sports too, Mom, all right? Anyways, you know, like the guys that like dress for success when it comes to playing sports, but they're really bad? That's an Ethiopian Hussar. The guy with the brand new cleats, brand new shirt, everything's looking snazzy. The socks match the shin guards, match the whatever you're wearing. That's an Ethiopian Hussar because it looks good, but it's just garbage at the game. Villese is really not quitting, man. His pop's still at 120, so it hasn't gotten worse. But resign, man. 3, 2, 1, 0. There you go, GG. Sorry, I was running out of things to talk about. I had to start talking about sports there, but GG. So well played from MbL. And if you look at the timeline, you can really tell how this game went. Like, MbL had a much greater economy in Castle Age, and Villese had to try and break that. MbL had skirmishers, which held on for a time. He moved into towers, which held on for a time. Then he pounced in early Imperial Age. And it's hard for me to say that Villese could have done a lot more there, as I've said 3 or 4 times now. It was just that well played by MbL. Very hard when you're going ARBs against a cab player because you don't want to move too far out because you can't run back. But at the same time, you always feel that sense of urgency like you have to. So he was waiting for the Halb tech switch, and MbL hit right before then. And Villese did a good recovery, too. He ended up stabilizing his pop, but then MbL was able to push forward with more skirms, more bombard cannons, more paladins, and then took it to this stage. Hussars are like Hun longswordsmen. Heretic, you know what's funny about that is I played a 1v1 a couple hours ago before the stream, and some guy was Huns. First off, he lamed me hard, which was not making me very happy. So he stole my boar, was trying to steal sheep, things like that. And then there was a point where I was going eagles and he was going knights. I switched into pikemen, and he started going long swords with Huns. And I didn't. I mean, he lamed me, so I kind of wanted to be disrespectful and be like, Hera? And I don't know if he would have knew what I was referencing, right? Because Hera did that in a tournament and failed miserably once. But yeah, anywho, it didn't work out too well. I don't know if comparing Ethiopian Hussars to Hun Longswordsmen is really fair, though. Ethiopian Hussars can make sense for raids, at least. Whereas Hun Longswordsmen, yeah, just not great. All right, cool. Yeah, exactly, Gibson. Would you say that MbL's Bombard Cannon was MVP of this match? I mean, MbL's early feudal engagements and walls and his map was also the MVP of that map. MVP of that game. He did a really good job making use of the boominess of his Civ and how good his map was there. What tournament was the Hun Longsword meme from? It was Red Bull Wololo 3. It was a best of 5. And Hera was up 2-0 over Leary. And Leary came back to win 3-2. And in the final game, Hera made Hun Longswordsman. And so that's why everyone brings it up. I mean, you know, Hera, obviously winner of Hidden Cup 4, is not hello. Now he's probably able to laugh about it more now because he's got that big win under his belt. But certainly back then it was all everyone was talking about. Confirmed T90 greater than Hera. Well, guys, I don't know if you know this, but I actually beat Hera in his first ever Age of Empires 2 DE game. It was back when we both got access to the beta. And I had spent like a couple weeks playing it already, and Hera hadn't. And so we got into voice chat together. And yeah, that's right. Destroyed him. No one seems impressed. All right, thank you. Oh, we got a lame from MbL. Well, MbL's up 2-0 and a best of 7. And I don't know if he has somewhere to be today or what, but my goodness, is he taking this seriously? I guess he should. Boar. The boar's not listening to MbL? Here he goes. I, for one, am shocked that MbL is stealing a boar. Absolutely shocked. He picked Mongols first in his draft. Here he goes, taking the boar back to his base. This reminds me of Hidden Cup. Remember he stole in game 1 against Admiral? It was MbL of the Templar versus Admiral Yisun Shin. I'm curious how greedy he's going to be here, though, because he ended up getting the lead and then tried to turn it into a boom, and the Admiral came back. Okay, so Mongols against Byzantines, though. I mean, Mongols have the scout bonus. So they can see the lame, and they also have the hunt bonus, so they can take advantage of it. But Byzantines can be really tricky for Mongols to face up against in the mid-game. Camels, Skirmisher, or even just Fast Imperial with a lot of skirms and arbs. I love Byzantines and Castle Age because everything's so cheap for them. So I think that it's almost essential in this Civ matchup that Mongols get an early lead. Because that's their one big bonus. The fact that they can hunt faster, they have the scouting bonus to lame, and then there's really nothing else that's exciting about them until the Imperial Age. Beat Hera on his first game of DE, undefeated versus Viper, T90 GOAT confirmed. Yeah, I guess so. We'll call it that. Yeah, I don't want to get too good, so I actually get Viper in a ranked game, because then I can no longer say I'm undefeated against him, so I'll just have to dodge him forever. 5 on wood for MbL. So I think that he'll know that Villese is really in a state of recovery. And he's going to try and do something that Villese would never expect and get a drush out. Interesting approach. I know Slam was doing that for a while. He really liked his pre-mill drushes with Mongols. Whereas normally the meta is you get all that food and you go scouts. You can get an even faster drush, I guess. But then again, he's going for the mill. So it's not pre-mill at least. He actually hasn't found this other boar, and he also has not found these sheep, so he needs to do that. And Villese probably assumes his boar was stolen if he didn't see it happen. I think he should have seen it. So pushed in some deer, walling up, which is a good decision. You have to wall in this Civ matchup anyways because of the threat of Mongols getting to you fast, so it doesn't hurt too much. Something tells me he's looking for his boar, though. Something tells me he didn't see it. He's probably assuming now because of his opponent and the fact he has looked everywhere, but the fact that he checked that one little area with the sheep makes me think that he was not certain of it. What's up, Dom Husk? Welcome.
Force nothing.
Project Belgium says, do you think that you could
Are you
have been the
okay?
best USA
It's
player
fine
if you weren't a
need to
caster?
cuddle 20.
Project Belgium, I'm well aware that you are going to clip whatever I respond to that question and send it to Daniel, who is the best USA player currently. But no, I think that if Daniel didn't exist, I mean, I'm in the talking point. I'm in the conversation anyways, as is, even with Daniel being there for best USA player. Yeah, if Daniel didn't exist and I wasn't casting, then I would say that yes, certainly, because I'd put a lot more time into playing, and I'm seed 2 at least in USA Cup, right? But yeah, Daniel's just a different level, man. Very, very good player. I mean, legit question. Yeah, again, I mean, so let me put it to you this way, Belgium. I think if I dedicated my time to playing instead of working on content, I think that my peak would be 2K3. So I don't think that I could get above. Like, I don't think I could. I'd basically be at a point where I'd be seed 32 or below in tournaments at best, and then I'd be losing first round to like Viper or someone, depending on the tournament. So yeah, I don't think I think I can only go so far with the decision making. Mechanically, I'm pretty poor compared to all the players we're looking at. So, all right, so here comes MbL with Men at Arms. Now, this is again not something that's common, but if you think about what this is going to mean, Villese might actually like to see this because he's completely walled up already. And wait, didn't MbL have militia? Okay, here they come. I mean, when he's Byzantines, so his walls will have more HP. He's going to play this into a range anyways, so I think Villese will be okay. We'll see. Now, he's not in Feudal Age yet. He doesn't know yet, so he doesn't need to actually react to this. He's just now adding a barracks, which MbL will see. And what's MbL's follow-up to this? Nothing, really. MbL does not have a follow-up. Normally, you'd see a range, but he doesn't have the resources for it yet. He's had a lot on food. So maybe MbL will be happy with the fact he doesn't get the Man-at-Arms upgrade because he doesn't want to waste the resources. Maybe he just walls a lot? Because it will take a while for Villese to get an archer range up and then send an archer forward.
Aim high T90. You've beaten Viper before.
Thank you, Italian Job. Lina says, are you okay? It's fine if you need to cuddle. I'm good. Thank you for the cuddle offers. Thank you, Juggles, for gifting the sub. So, eco approach from Villese. I think, again, this will end up working out. Now, MbL is, he even came back to push in an extra deer. So he's going super greed, super eco too. But there will be a point where MbL will need some ranged units to defend himself. You can clearly see that the enemy is going to be going archers. But it's not exactly like he's going to rush out a bunch of units, have upgrades on them. So, but this is Byzantines in a nutshell against your typical Mongols too. Mongols off to a fast start. Byzantines very defensive with their walls. And so expect MbL to be worse off here on out, except for maybe reaching Castle Age. He will have a lot of food income. T90, have you ever won against MbL? No, I have won against MbL, yes. But that was like 2 years ago, and the game wasn't completely serious. I was way worse 2 years ago, obviously. I've taken MbL to post imp a few times. I think 2 of them are on YouTube, but I've never actually been able to get a win in a serious game. Like when I beat Viper, right? And that was not a serious game. He trolled a little bit. Now, I'll take it. You know, I obviously played well. It wasn't like he left his computer, but it's honestly at a point where if I'm up against some top 10 players, they always troll against me because if they win with a troll, then they can be like, haha, I did it, and it's funny, and it makes me look bad and makes them look good. But if they lose while trolling, the community outlook is going to be, well, T90 should have won. So-and-so was trolling, right? Which really bothers me, by the way. I'd prefer to just get destroyed in 20 minutes than be toyed around with. Because I wouldn't even feel good about a win. You know? Red Ned Revolver says, no mods, no ban. You know I'm reading chat, right? Do you want a ban? Hey, mods, I just finished my 30-minute timeout of chat. Can I get a quick 60-minute ban next? All right. Cool. Yeah, 1 second. I'll take care of that for you. I just got to wait till this fight finishes. Oh, there you go. Mod's got it for you. All right, cool. You can't even complain. You literally asked for it. You literally asked for that. So it wasn't an hour though. It would just take 10 minutes. It's fine. You guys don't realize I have a great team of mods. MbL, what are you doing here, buddy? I have a great team of mods. But normally, you know, they discuss, like, should we punish this person for doing X, Y, or Z? And normally, I'm the one that's speaking up for you guys. I'm like, hey, you're right. That person was out of line, but maybe they had a bad day. Let's not ban them from the community. I'm the one defending you guys. So if you're gonna be that person, you give them permission, they're gonna be like, bam, just go for it. MbL benefited greatly from his lane. That's the reality. He had one of the faster man-at-arms rush you could see, but he also didn't have the scouting intel to know how Villese was going to treat it. And now he's fallen back. So he's going to add scouts, and he's going to try and cancel out these skirmishers. Villese has plenty of skirms here, and Villese also has archers. So just one scout isn't necessarily going to be enough. And it's really important that Villese sees this. Yeah, he knows now. And he actually lost an archer, so good momentum for MbL. Now, the thing here is, I think the instinct is from lower level players is to add a spearman. But at a high level, if you add spearman, MbL is always going to use the skirmishers to pick those off. So we might still see it, don't get me wrong. But I think normally it's just about getting archers in the mix. Not so easy, though, when you only have 2 archers already. Villese is not spending as much food, so Villese will probably have a faster castle age, but MbL desperate for map control. And it's really funny how he's just sitting next to the skirms here. Now kiss. To be honest, your chat is actually really chill anyways compared to others. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on today. I think I encouraged it because I made a joke and then people were taking it the wrong way. But yeah, it's fine. I think there's been like 4 people. I don't know the number of people that have ever been banned from my channel, but we normally don't have any issues here. So Villese will be very happy with this position. MbL's making more scouts now. He's terrified. And if he doesn't take a clean engagement against this soon, if he doesn't take some map control, Villese is going to be happily on the way to Castle Age waiting for upgrades. Big problems for MbL. Okay, here's a question for you guys. Do you think that it is common to see players be too greedy after a lane with Mongols? Do you like too greedy with not making military behind it, too greedy with booming too much? Do you think that's common? I think it is very common. You don't have to look too very far for examples of it. Think of Evilo against John the Fearless in the Bay game when Evilo had 3 boars. I mean, I could go down the list of times we've seen it. But MbL now is forced into this feudal situation, and it's actually not going to be too bad for him. He gets in here with scouts. Only gets 1 villager, actually. And now, oh, he's trapped in here. Oh my goodness. What a play from Villese. That's the play of the week right there. And it's the play of the week because MbL is going kind of YOLO feudal age. And so the fact that these scouts can't move around with the skirmishers means that he might have just lost the game. The confidence to do that too. All the scouts will go down. MbL just got bloodlines for those. He got forging for those, and they are dead. In 20 seconds, Villese will be in castle, and MbL's just now clicked. Yeah, MbL's going to have some big problems. He meant it. The hole was not a hole. It was a trap. He's going to open up with some knights here, I think, too. Oh, man. He has the potential to make so much. Crossbow and bodkin on the way. That'll be strong. Camels are cheap, so he'll have camels out, which will do okay against the skirms. But yeah, anyways, back to my point about Mongols, I think it is really common. The other thing, though, is that it's not like... Because you can be up so fast with Mongols, it's a little wacky with their builds. Because You're used to having, I don't know, 2 lumber camps, 11 villagers. With Mongols, you have 1 lumber camp, 8 villagers, because you don't have as many villas when you up. So everything changes about how you play the game when you have Mongols. Okay. So 4 scouts are trapped. MbL with a very late castle age. And he's scared, as he should be. He wants to go for a lot of skirms. He towered his wood line. But Villese is already on a second TC, so expect Villese to be able to get quite a few villager lead from that. MbL with lots of houses, man. I mean, he really wants to make sure his walls are stronger, but still doesn't give him an opportunity to counter. Here you've got the crossbows. MbL has to pull away. Yeah, I played a game earlier where I had to build towers like this, and it sucks, man, because the crossbow player is still going to hop in there. And chain barding. Now, what's so nice about Byzantines is it's now cheaper for you to go Imperial, if that's ever on the cards for you. Plus, your camels are so cheap. If you make this amount of camels with any other civ, you won't be able to afford chain barding armor. But with Byzantines, you can afford to get armor and make these camels, because the camels themselves are so cheap. All the buildings now have more HP too, so I mean, your fortifications are there. And MbL is going to go skirms. Now, what I said in the previous game was that skirms is actually decent with upgrades against camels, because camels that lack bloodlines and armor would struggle. But let's see.
Twitch Prime, I think it was.
Yeah, I think MbL could
6
actually do
months,
okay
baby.
here, but chain barding's in now. See how confident MbL is with skirmishers? He knows. What's up, Fingon? Thanks for the 6. Moving up the hill now, but that's still chain barding. Makes me think that MbL's possibly being too confident here. Then again, he can 2-shot? No, 3-shot a camel. That's not bad. Considering camels should, you know. By the way, Grim, are you still here? I think you were, because I think you were the one who timed that person out. This is kind of what I meant in the previous game. Is how the camels are going to go down so quickly. Hey, I'm here. Yeah. So that's kind of your realistic fight example right there of what we talked about in the previous one. Who did I time out? Lost count? Oh, God. Now, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the camel situation. Oh, and Villese has expected MbL to go back because that's what MbL likes to do. He likes his defense. And MbL realized he needed to go forward. And MbL denies the town center. And he gets reward. So he is alive. We'll see about well. I don't know if that's going to be true, but he's running away. Villese gets to the far side. MbL bringing in his own camels. He does have knights in there too. These skirmishers are just tanking so much. But Villese is adding knights, which is really important. Very good idea from him to get knights out there because they're so much better in terms of pierce armor. Guys, knights have, with chain barding, 2+2 pierce armor. Camels have 0 pierce armor as a base, so they only have 2 pierce armor. Meaning that those skirmishers are going to be doing a lot more damage. So, the second the knights came in there, the fight really started to change. Villese will complete the TC anyways. But economically, it's pretty close now. Though MbL's been on 1 TC. Building a lot more military, too. He didn't have any stone income, so he can't even go for the second TC. He's going for ballistics, cav archers, camels, everything. Just realizes that, well, he's behind. Is to get as much military on the map as possible. Whereas Villese is going more for the, I'd say the meta approach, right? Military into a few TCs as he's going to fight up this hill. Feels like a fight that should be good for Villese because of the numbers and not so good for MbL that he has to back away again. So thank you, Seamoth.
I am getting my heavy truck license this week. Lots of fun. Keep
Heavy
up the
truck
great
license
work.
this week. Isn't that a really lengthy, difficult process? Congratulations if that's going to happen. One of my old friends, I'm not really friends with him anymore, at one point did that. Such a weird mix of units here, man. We've got camels, crossbows, skirmishers, cav archers. I think MbL starts to win these fights a little bit now. Camels only. Ballistics is in for MbL. Lots of these units are weak for Villese. As Villese will not want to give up the hill, but I think he kind of has to here. Can MbL do this? 1 TC. Villese steadily growing with the eco lead with 3 TCs pumping villagers. So it's really going to happen soon for MbL. Are we perhaps seeing the weakness of Byzantines in that the camels don't get bloodlines, you know? Like we've seen the strength of Byzantines with the amount of military Villese is able to field, but now we're also seeing the weakness of it. As the stable gets denied, so still only 2 stable production. MbL has 2 stable production and 2 range production. Most of them are queued up. 26 military versus 10. This is where MbL definitely should be trying to add a second TC, because he knows at least it's 2 for Villese. 74 villagers versus 62. Correct move from Villese to start getting upgrades and adding more stables, though. He should have greater food and gold eco, so just trying out mass here. That is your bonus. Goes for conversion. He won't get that. MbL sending in the skirms to take out the monk, which he won't get either. But he gets that skirm, which is funny. I was wondering why he sent one forward. Camels should probably back away. MbL's camels with okay upgrades, and there's still a lot of skirms, still with ballistics, and as we've said, skirms, not too bad in this spot. Especially because you have that combination you always seek. Melee and ranged combo. Now, Villese is about to have enough stone to build a castle. Does he panic drop one here? Does he need to do it, or can he... Sometimes you'll see players be patient if they think they'll win the fight, because then they can drop the castle on the hill afterwards. But MbL's kind of hiding the amount of camels and units he has behind this. He's just microing with his skirms. Villese says, oh, I can do it. And now he's like, oh, shoot, I can't do it. And now maybe he starts to panic, guys. Again, I'm thinking that he's thinking he wants to take this hill with the castle. I don't know if he can. 84 villagers versus 69. MbL with 2 very forward town centers, which are good TCs, but he better continue to control the game, because if he does not, those TCs will be castle dropped or they will go down. Great series here, man. MbL just seems... Well, in the moments where he's had to be defensive, he's been better at that than Villese. And in the moments where he's need to be aggressive, I think he's also been slightly better at that. You could also argue he's been a little more fortunate in some situations with the map gens. And also with small details. But you make your own luck, as they say. MbL splits confidently. And Villese should attack round to side right now. He should attack... Or not. Okay. MbL patrolled into his stable, so that hurts. Oh, another Mangonel shot! This is a better fight for MbL, though. This is before MbL gets chain barding, by the way. Also, Mongols get bloodlines, which Byzantines do not. And guys, MbL is 15 villagers behind, but he is doing this. Guarantee you, Villese wanted to drop a castle on the hill. MbL has not allowed him to push out. He's mixing in cav archers. Just non-stop pressure and production here on the front. Villese still feeling like he's going to have to catch up in numbers, but MbL won't let him do so. But still very winnable for Villese. This is a great game. Someone's saying, damn, Villese, drop that castle. Well, where? What does a castle do for him right now? Well, actually, we're about to see some castles, that's for sure. Because if you see villagers coming forward and you're in Villese's shoes, you know what that means. Now, what do? Do you drop your own? You can't stop it. I don't think so anyways. Okay, I think you drop a castle here. You move from this gold to this gold, and then you go in. You obviously have to abandon the front of your base. Okay, he's going to castle here, and then castle here as well, maybe?
A deer with no eyes? Because I got no idea.
MbL also thinking about Imperial Age, though it's not cheaper for him. What a ridiculously close and balanced game here, as it's 125 pop for both. I imagine MbL's feeling confidence, right? He's up 2-0 in the show match. Also knows how far behind he was here. And what I'm talking about is gold for Villese. And that second castle. I mean, if you get castles up... Okay, that's a good one. It's less risky. If you get the castles up, it'll be 2 Byzantine castles against 1 Mongol castle. You should realistically be able to treb this back. Plus, you will have imp upgrades coming in for the camels. MbL on the way to Imp, added a 4th TC, so he's going to probably even things out economically because of that. Because he'll have 3 TCs pumping out villagers. Villese will have 2 because one of your TCs needs to go Imperial, obviously. What will MbL commit to? Mongols do get heavy camel, but they don't get plate barding armor. So the camels are not the best. He's making more stables though.
How's my favorite streamer?
What's up, TacBeat? I'm doing all right. Been enjoying the stream so far today. I really like MbL's castle. I just wonder if he's going to regret making 2 here. Do you really want to go for Treb War against Byzantines? You see a castle here. You see a castle here. I think this could be tough. Byzantine castles just have so much HP. Got villagers moving all around. So much of MbL's economy is behind this. You know what? I think it's win this hill or lose the game for MbL, now that I think about it.
I'm glad I can watch the
So it is
MbL
important.
play live.
Because I was thinking maybe you just give it up and build a castle at home, but then it's at the bottom of a hill. And that would just be an invitation for Villese to take it, so. First Treb on the way for Villese. Second Treb on the way for Villese. His Treb position will actually be... I think he goes 1 on each castle, because he can sit here and hit this castle. He can sit here and hit this castle. He also has gone for Bracer and is adding archer ranges, so I think he'll mix in skirms. Oh, an MbL diving in to take out the Treb with camels, which of course means he'll lose a lot of camels. But that's important. I don't think Villese was expecting that. I'd be surprised too to see someone go underneath the castles with camels. So that's something that Villese needs to think about then and be worried about. Castle here for Villese kind of protects this side from any raids, which could come in from Mongols with their hussars. MbL already did research like Cav. Villese was inside there. Now he does not have any imp upgrades on his camels. Now here he comes. MbL spotted that. MbL knew that Villese was waiting inside of that castle with his camels. The second Villese tried to do that, MbL said, no. That's my idea. You can't do that. That's my strategy. Don't steal my idea, bruh. Now Villese getting plate barding, something MbL cannot get, but MbL will have heavy camel, and he has blast furnace. So in terms of the camel v camel fights, it should be better for MbL. Villese might have Byzantine HP, but he will lose this castle. He might not be able to take this one out from the other side because his Trebs would have to come over here. What an insane game from MbL. Like, how does he not die in the situations he falls into? Now we're going to see a mix of trash units from Villese, but I think these tech switches, these upgrades, maybe everything coming in a little too late. He's just now clicked pikemen. I don't know if pikemen are really helpful right now against skirm and cav archer in the mix. I mean, there's 15 camels for Villese, and there's 37 for MbL. Villese has got to produce, man. I think he's absolutely shocked by this. He does have resources he's not spending. Hoping to use the bombard cannon for the Trebs. MbL instantly reacts and snipes it. Big problems for the Finnish player. Already big problems in this show match. You start to see the queue now. MbL goes in, having heavy camel. There's a big difference there. Heavy camel and bloodlines. Villese has no military. MbL's at 180 pop. He will take down every single trebuchet, which means he will take out the castle, and he will win this game. That was disgusting. That was so good. Like, look. Now, granted, you've got to look at Villese's gameplay and say that he's got to do a better job, I think, with that eco lead that he had. But how MbL was able to turn that around is just beyond me. But I think I've got to be a little critical of Villese, and I think he has to produce more military at even this stage. And this is actually the root of many people's problems at low elo, so I want to touch on this point. MbL picked one. No, he picked 2 units, to be fair. Now, he wasn't making a lot of cav archers. He wasn't making a lot of skirms at this stage. So, realistically, it was just all camels and imp, right? Villese made 2 castles. He made a bunch of trebs. He made 4 ranges, which is 600 wood. He has 6 barracks, which is tons of wood. He clicked elite skirm. He clicked bracer. He clicked skirmisher armor. And then he also got infantry armor and had to tech all the way through pikemen and get halberdier. So in that point where he's trying to get to these options, MbL says, I just have one option. I have a lot of them. I've spent all my resources on this, and boom. So I think that Villese tech switching actually lost him this game. I think that if he commits fully to camels, takes some big fights, and then tech switches behind that, it's better. Beautiful play from MbL, though. At one point behind by 20 villagers, and knew he needed to control the game with military. As MbL would say, it's a war game, guys. It's a war game. Sick stuff. All right, MbL up 3-0. Well, Dave, this was supposed to be a long day. Best of 7. Now it's 3-0. I'm hoping Villese gets a couple wins on the board here so we can cast more. It said best of 5 on AoE zone, so should be good to go. Potentially the last game if MbL wins it. Then he will receive 60% of $750 and probably call it a day, man. T90, would you rather have 1,000 thimble-sized archers or 1 normal-sized archer? Thimble-sized. Probably 1,000 thimble-sized archers. Yeah, 1,000 thimble-sized archers. You thought it was a best of 5, C. Joels? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it says best of 7 on the scoreboard. Also, I believe it says best of 7 in-game, so sorry if there was confusion there. But we will go into another game. It will be Huns versus Aztecs, and Capture Age is going to connect for us. Thank you, by the way, to the people who have come back and supported the stream today. Nice to see everyone talking about the games, enjoying the strategy, and okay. MbL is going to go Cav Archers in this game. I think so, anyways. I could be wrong, but when you think about Castle Age in this Civ matchup, your instinct is to say go Knights with Huns because the enemy tends to go Eagles if they're Aztecs. But the second Aztecs switch into Monks and Pikemen as well, Knights get wrecked. So something that Dowd has tried for years, and it's not necessarily an MbL thing to do, is make Cav Archers, which feels weird and sounds weird to even say because Eagles are anti-archer. But in Castle Age, if you get enough Cav Archers, you can just kill all the Eagles and outrun them too. Right, well, MbL's playing as the Huns. He's up 3-0 in a best of 7 show match. I'm personally hoping that Villese wins 3 straight so we can see more games. Sorry, MbL. In the blue, we have Villese who's playing as the Aztecs. And the one core thing here that's a problem, I actually played this exact Civ matchup 2 hours ago before the stream. The issue with Aztecs is that Huns are more mobile because they have horses. So normally you're going to see the Aztec player try and wall up and ideally play safe, and Villese definitely has the map for it. He's got back golds, back berries, and then could just make an arena for himself, and it could be tough for MbL then. Actually, MbL's base is pretty bad. I mean, it's certainly worse in that I think he has more to do when it comes to walling. I always would hate to have my berries forward when I'm up against a Civ that's probably going to make Militia or go Man-at-Arms. So, again, prefer Villese's map. I've had situations where I preferred MbL's map today, so obviously that MbL's made it work regardless. Anderdesh says, I apologize to those I told it was best of 5, was following the website where I should have followed T90. Yeah, how dare you not trust me, Banderdash. Yeah, Banderdash, it's fine. It's just a show match, and I don't think the information was posted correctly everywhere. So thank you for telling people and trying to inform people as they ask. I'm hoping this week Capture Age will update my mod, but it doesn't say best of 7, to be fair, at the top here, because basically it won't show all the info because I have something that's covering up the Hidden Cup 4 logo there. So it's either I show the Hidden Cup 4 logo and a bunch of people ask about that, or I just don't have some information. Now, Villese, looking for some laming revenge, is going to try and block MbL, and oh my goodness, MbL is a god when it comes to boars. Well, let's see if he can bring it in first. Okay, yep, he's going to do that. Let me explain what just happened there. So you can de-aggro boars if you place a building foundation directly over top of them and hit that foundation. It's not just placing it. You have to place it and then hit the foundation. And normally what people do is they use a house. MbL is not Huns. I mean, he is Huns, damn it. MbL is Huns. He can't make houses. So he used a lumber camp foundation to de-aggro the boar so the eagle block wouldn't work and the boar wouldn't kill him. That is just something that just came second nature to him. I've seen people do it with palisades with Huns, but obviously with one palisade, it has less surface area, so it's more difficult. All right. Wouldn't it have been better to block the Vill instead of the boar? That's exactly what was happening, Miracle Tortoise. He was blocking the Vill, and then MbL de-aggroed the boar, so it wasn't attacking the Vill anymore. And as it started to run back, even with the eagle there, MbL shot the boar so he could bring it in, so he wouldn't even waste any time. I can go back and point out that moment if you guys would like to go back and look later. But let's see what MbL can spot. He is, I think, realizing he's somewhat up against it here long term, so he's going to try and get an early lead. I personally would prefer Aztecs. I think they're a much better civ here, but Huns do have a chance. The thing about Huns is normally you're just going to play open here. And that openness leads to a lot less idle time because you're not spending as many resources and time walling. But I think Aztecs have the greater peak in this matchup. Big Jazz says, why not make another tourney plus Hidden Cup each year? Why not? I mean, let's see. December was the host of the 2v2 World Cup. And then 3 months later, Hidden Cup 4. So I'd say we're off to a pretty good start. That's 2 big tournaments every 3 months so far over the last year. Maybe you didn't know about that tournament. I do plan on hosting more, but also I have a really hard time taking care of myself in real life because I prioritize making content and I'm trying to find a better balance. Okay, so MbL's going man-at-arms. If you look at his scouting, he saw the barracks, but Villese did not garrison them, and he put the militia here. Which is a neat little play, because MbL was looking for a flag, and Villese didn't show him a flag. But I think he's expecting something. At the very least, MbL knows he won't be able to do any damage, because the enemy's walled, so he's just going to stay home. Let's see. Okay, he hits Feudal, so his scout's going to get some big hits. Villese has to decide on what to do here, because if you bring in your militia, you're probably going to save the eagle for a bit, but you're still going to be fighting at a disadvantage. And now MbL knows. Okay, MbL knows. Early advantage for MbL. Scout has done a lot of damage here. And micro. Ooh. Oh, I guess he's trying. Okay, he's trying to kill these things, so he was sacrificing some scout HP. And yeah, Villese probably does the right thing here, guys, and he just skips man-at-arms. It's honestly the right play, because I think he would have upgraded man-at-arms and then lost the fight. So yeah, MbL, happy to see that. We'll know what that means. Needs to get his wood upgrade. Did not get that yet. And there it is. So he knows. And Villese is just going to boom. Playing super duper safe here. T90, did you ever play Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds? I never played Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. But I have seen people play it. I have had a lot of people request I make content for that. But I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy, which sometimes turns people away from my content. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. So I think that it would probably be uninteresting content-wise if I were to do that. I don't think it's realistic for Villese to be able to get any kills with this. And he knows that too. He's not even adding... Oh, he is adding a range. Okay. He's just getting eco upgrades and hiding behind his walls. And so what's tough is when the enemy's walled and you're not, is you don't... Sometimes you can invest too much offensively and it doesn't work out. Or they could still go offensive anyways, and you have too little defense, and then they kill you. So it always just feels better when you have some walls down. Did you ever play Lego Island? No, never played that. Never played that game. Doesn't really sound like a game that I would like to play. But maybe. I used to love Legos as a kid. Did you ever play RuneScape? A little bit. I never put a lot of time into RuneScape, which basically means I didn't play RuneScape, right? Saying that you played RuneScape a little bit means you never played RuneScape. Right? I think that from what I know about RuneScape, that's pretty much what that means. Okay. Here come archers from Villese. But MbL's only had his man-at-arms. I'm sure he's happy with how much time he's been able to buy himself. Scout also confirmed the archers were coming forward, which I really liked. But for Villese, I think ultimately he's going to switch into eagles anyways. So he just wants to get rid of the man-at-arms so he can move the eagles forward. Guys, you're asking me about games. You have to understand, I've only played Age of Empires for the last 8 years of my life. Pretty much. You know, I did play about 500 hours of Rocket League over the first year it came out. But apart from that, I'll occasionally play FIFA with a friend. I don't play many other video games. I did play a lot of console games back in the day, but pretty much an Age of Empires only guy. If I'm playing a game and I'm not streaming or making content, it's always Age of Empires. So, ooh, micro really important here. And great micro from MbL. Feels like this army scales a little bit better for Villese because he has the eagles in there, but MbL would like a trade and he'll get one. Wow, I mean, this is all right for MbL, but Villese still happy, I think, to have not taken damage and happy to have Aztecs against Huns. I played AoE1 after AoE2, and I can't like it because it just feels like a worse version of AoE2, you know? It feels like with AoE2, they took everything that was wrong with AoE1, and they fixed it. So, since I don't have nostalgia when it comes to AoE1, I can't really enjoy it. Like when I played AoE1 Definitive Edition, it just tilted me. I couldn't put villagers inside town centers. I was like, what? Not to mention the graphics are worse than DE2, so... Oh yeah, loved Roller Coaster Tycoon. I was going to do a Roller Coaster Tycoon stream this week, but I don't think it's going to end up happening. Maybe next week. I'm definitely in the mood to doing more. Maybe some more Stronghold too. All right, so MbL did a really good job not overinvesting. As I had said earlier, it's common when you are not walled up to overinvest into attack or defense, and then your Castle Age time will be poor. Castle Age time will be pretty close here. We've not seen a single villager go down. MbL with 8 to 3 KD. And he, I believe, is going into exactly what I had said. I think he's going to go Cav Archers. Another layer of wall behind this is very interesting. And he's adding a stable. But I think that stable's going to be for Bloodlines for his Cav Archers. He might make 1 or 2 knights. But I expect more ranges. And yeah, there's the ranges. Interesting to me how he's not trying to engage against this right now. He's just waiting on the hill. It's a lot more patience than I would show, but I guess he's judged it. He's brought another Vill over. He should have the layer up. Villese does see the layer, but he'll be happy to see villagers at least not working. And Villese is going eagles. Yeah, as expected. This is... So, as I said, I played a game earlier. It was Huns versus Aztecs, and this is essentially what went down. It turns into Aztecs having a lot of momentum, but if Huns commit to a bunch of ranges, it can really be strong. And MbL even adding a scout here. I think he's just worried about the skirms. 3 scouts, okay.
T90 love.
Good opportunity for MbL, but it's important he fights soon. Eagles do get +3 attack when they reach Castle Age. So MbL should probably prioritize the eagles, but then again, he wants his archers to stay alive, and there's skirms in there. And okay, Villese is through. Now Villese's eagles have... well, they have it as 7+1, actually. They changed it. It used to be shown as 4 base attack +3. But nowadays, I guess, the base attack changes from 4 to 7 in Castle Age. who won the Hun Aztec game, I ended up winning with Aztecs. It was actually a really insane game. Also, he lamed me too. His name was like Hellboy, and I'm like, who's Hellboy? And then after that, I played somebody, and he was like, X your boar. Like, bunch of lamers, man. And I actually signaled my boar too, but he didn't believe me. I signaled my boar because I knew that he would never expect my base to actually be there. And he scouted another area of the map. I was so proud of myself. Is there a hole there? No, there's no hole there. Okay, so MbL kind of realizes what's coming here. He's got a knight and 2 cav archers. And MbL, I think, wants that villager. I mean, he might get the villager, but a monk's going to pop out here in a second. Another villager can come forward. Interesting. MbL's really not making as much military as I expected here, and the same with Villese. Well, 3 barracks, monastery, siege workshop. That's pretty all in, actually. That's pretty strong. But a bit wasteful, I guess you could argue, for Villese to lose the Vill. But also, you have to credit MbL for his good work there to find it. Now, he's expecting another one. You're kidding me. He's expecting another one to come forward, so he's looking for it. Okay, here, he sees the monk trying to convert the knight. He pulls it back. Here he comes in with the cav archers. Villese patrols in with the eagle. Now, there's another monk, and there's a Vill. Monk will die. MbL could also take the Vill. No, he can't get the Vill. Can he? Oh, the moves! This is precious time for MbL. He loses the knight to a conversion. And he's not going to get that villager, guys. Yeah, this is a bit of a problem. 12 military versus 5. MbL's... Wait a second. He gets the Vill! He gets the Vill! So he's been really... Well, he's gone for more of a booming approach than I expected, but if you think of all the time that he's bought, Villese wants to have scorpions and eagles, which would be great. Scorpions, eagles, monks. And still this isn't up. So MbL went for a second TC, has the Vill lead, and now he's doubling down on the ranges. So what my 2K1 noob self would have done is I would have gone for 4 ranges first. He's a better defensive player than I am. Arson even for Villese, who is adding a second TC. But I'm a little surprised to see MbL's moving out. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised after how the game has started off, but this is why you go cav archers, though, because the knights, you wouldn't be able to have enough of them to fight against the eagles. You can at least run away with husbandry cav archers. But, you know, you also lose all these if scorpions are out, too. So thank goodness for MbL that scorpions aren't out. He does have ballistics now. And repair villagers will also be really important. The confidence that MbL is moving around with right now is just crazy. Remember, I think Doubt tried this against Villese and got destroyed in Hidden Cup 4. It was Villese's Aztecs, Doubt as Huns, Gonzalo, Pizarro, Pope Leo, game 1. So it's not as if Villese is a stranger to this strategy, as he's adding town centers now, realizing he hasn't done as much damage as he would have wanted. He'll also know that based on MbL's opening, MbL's booming back here. That should be obvious. Because if it was a 4-range opening, MbL would have a lot more cav archers. What are the chances of reverse sweep? At this level, I'd say about 10%. But with Aztecs against Huns and the kills you're seeing now, first off, we're seeing why you normally want to mass the CA before boom, right? It's a strategy approach from MbL. But that eagle number, scorpion number, monk number is getting dangerously high now. But if you get to 30 cav archers, you're one-shotting virtually everything that Villese has, except for a scorpion, I think. So cav archers are the play with Huns. It's just not ever ideal, right? MbL chose to boom this game. He fell back to 3 TCs before having military control. Normally, you see the Aztec player go all in, the Hun player go all in, and then they boom after that. But MbL's confident he can possibly defend this.
Joined during last Hidden Cup. Thanks for
a little messy for him right now. 3 scorpions. Now, the scorpions are the killer. Scorpions are something that's really tough to deal with cav archers. That's why he has a Mangonel there, which he's actually pulled behind his walls. He did take out this eagle. Good job from Villese to buy himself time and space with that, so he could pressure the front. I like how these guys grunt as they're poking. They're like, huh, 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 huh. Are they really putting out that much effort? Looks like they're using one hand, so maybe. I don't know. Right, so 24 military versus 20. MbL's ranges are right next to all of this. Wouldn't run into this choke point if I were you, Villese. And again, he doesn't see too many cav archers, does he? Because MbL's going for a counter. So MbL leaving himself exposed at home. Now, will Villese realize that there's a counterattack coming? Because that's huge. By the way, I think this counterattack makes 0 sense. You really need the cav archers at home right now. There's nothing... You don't know there's anything exposed. He's going to commit to it anyways. Underneath the town center with scorpions goes Villese. But there's just not enough cav archers here. And if the villagers chase the scorpions, they're going to go down. So, yeah, man, MbL's counterattack. What is he attacking? Did kill a villager or two over here. Could stop and take out farmers. Has to worry about his base. Okay, Villese noticed because he's garrisoning his TCs and also his barracks. But the TC positions are pretty good for Villese. Hard for MbL to do too much damage here, as he's going to start losing ranges.
Love your content, T90.
So it's hard to say, but I think if MbL would have kept his cav archer mass at home, he would have had a better shot here. He's now behind in villagers to see micros. Now, notice how Villese has brought the Vill forward. It wasn't enough there, but the repair villagers on the siege is always crucial. Cav archers are still here for MbL. Thank you, Sergeant. Thank you, Feistro. Thank you, Neft. Thank you, IX. And another thing to talk about is the relic count. No relics yet. We see the cav archers getting kills over here. Great. Okay, now the counter's paying off a little bit. In terms of eco KD, it's pretty close. But yeah, Villese with the lead, and Aztecs do get 33% more gold per relic. So you'll start to see Villese send one monk around the map, I think, to get relics. Now, if this gets to Elite Eagle versus Cav Archers, at that point, Elite Eagle just owns Huns, and they have no chance. So, you're going aggressive to get a lead, essentially, so you can win this in Imp. MbL needs to make sure he's taking big engagements before Imp ever is possible. Again, the problem with splitting up Cav Archers. You want that big crucial mass. And, oh, he misclicked! I think he's going to complain about pathing, but he probably clicked them over here, and the best path would have been that way. And here you have Eagles taking a... I mean, you're tossing away a lot of Eagles, but that's a pretty okay fight, I think. If you've got more reinforcements coming in and these going down, yeah, that's fair. Okay, the Ram will go take out the Blacksmith. MbL with 19 Cav Archers. There's 32 military for Villese. MbL does have a Maganel on the way. He's adding more ranges. He really, I think, is starting to sense how difficult this is for him right now. But 72 Vills versus 82, and with this amount of military, anything can happen. In theory, the Cav Archers will never die with proper micro. Now, I mean, you have to force some fights. There's going to be siege out there. Expect death, but... 22. Remember I said, I think 30 is the number that makes you feel really comfortable. Can he get that in one big ball when he loses his range? Oh, God, Villese is in. Villese just ran right through. That's also the big difference between the Eagles and the Cav Archers. The Cav Archers need to be in one spot to be effective. The Eagles can spread out. Great work from Villese to realize that that main force was leaving and punish MbL for that. The second time. Sometimes it's not what you see, it's what you don't see. If you don't see that main force, just run in and punish. Eagles going down, but Cav Archers going down and Eco going down. 90 villagers for Villese. Villese was really close to winning some of these games. Let's be honest. Like, I forget game 1 already. Oh, that one went Imp. That was close. Game 2 went Imp. That was close. Game 3 was, many might say, possibly a throw from Villese, but he was in the lead in that game too. So even though the scoreline says 3-0, it doesn't necessarily mean that MbL's... Oh, God! That MbL's destroyed. Oh, that's one way to throw a game, is toss your Eagles away. But he just wants to take out that TC. Here comes MbL from the backside with the Cav Archers. Trying to keep the TC up. Well, the Siege will probably stop attacking the TC to take out the CA, I think. Great work from MbL to repair there. Actually, yeah, look, the TC will stay up. A lot of Cav Archers will die, but he should be able to go... It's not been pretty. It has not been pretty. But there you go. MbL finally takes care of that. And the military numbers are the same, but the eco numbers are very much not. Yeah, that was rough for MbL. This is where you just regroup a mass, and you think about going up to Imperial Age for your Villese. And MbL's just got to push to send out a big mass again. Here he comes. And just like that, there's more Eagles. Did MbL get Thumb Ring, chat? It very much looks like he did not get Thumb Ring. So I think if Doubt were playing in MbL's shoes, and it wouldn't necessarily be better for Doubt, but I think what Doubt would do is go 1 TC at the start with 4 ranges, as opposed to trying to boom and then do this, because if you boom, a player like Villese is going to punish. Yeah, I don't think he has it either, which is a pretty big deal. And yeah, he just ends up calling it. I think he knows he lost too many Vills. He knows what's going to happen if this game continues, so MbL just taps out. So Villese gets a win, and we will get more games. Villese had a really good map for it. It's a really good Civ matchup. I think Aztecs are the better Civ of the two. Maybe MbL's thought process was, well, he's going to go all in against me, so if I can boom, I'll have greater eco. But I think ultimately that boom can be punished pretty good by the approach from Villese. MbL did his part. He tried his best. He killed the 2 villagers running forward to finish the siege workshop, and still that eagle combination too tough to stop. So, reverse sweep possibly, chat? I don't necessarily want to see reverse sweep. I just want to see 7 games. So, all Villese has to do is win 2 more. That's it. Easy.
I was going to tell a time traveling joke, but you guys didn't like it. 11, keep up the good work, T90.
Oh, God. These jokes today have been good. Thank you, Reverend. I will. Try my best to. I will. All right. Next game. Now, I really have to pee. So, I'm going to take you into the game, and I'm going to put you on MbL's scout's point of view, Casey Lames or something, and I'm going to run real quick to the restroom, and then I'll be back, all right? Sorry, but trying to hydrate and sitting at your computer all day is just not a good mix. Here's MbL in the yellow. Yeah, you can watch MbL's scout. I'll be back. Oh, wait, actually, everyone knows that Twitch chat is the all-knowing of the knowledgeable ones. That phrase made no sense. Anyways, Twitch chat is going to cast and talk about the Civ matchup and do everything that I would normally do, just in case you needed knowledge. Okay. Okay, how did we gain 300 viewers when I was away from the computer? Do you have any idea how that makes me feel, guys? We gained hundreds of people while I was gone and not putting any effort into casting. Thank you. Welcome. Okay, game 5 here. MbL is in the yellow playing as the Indians. You guys did a great job, by the way. I was watching chat. Thank you, chat, for casting. And in the blue... What is this map, Jen? Look at the wood lines!
At T90 official 2 claps for 2 months.
Look! Devs, I think they're just using standard DE Arabia. What is this, man? You've got gigantic Black Forest wood lines over here for MbL. Now, granted, his map is not great because of other aspects, but this looks like normal Arabia. This looks like 2 maps smushed into 1 for MbL. MbL's going for a barracks now. We'll see some militia come out. If Villese is here, Villese might end up spotting this. All right. Yep, he sees the barracks at least, so he'll know. But MbL's staying at home. And then over here, you have Villese. He's actually doing the exact same build. So I don't know exactly what Twitch chat talked about. Twitch chat took over while I was gone. But as I was relieving myself, I was trying to think of which civilizations I would prefer here. And I came back to preferring Malians. Also, to the people that want the predictions, we don't have anyone to do it right now, so you're going to have to just live without it. I'm sorry. But yeah, so Indians do have a bonus that becomes very useful. And actually, wait a second. MbL, he decided against making the militia, and now he's going to make the militia anyways after seeing Villese is doing it. But yeah, villagers are cheaper with Indians. So since they're cheaper, that's a bonus that doesn't necessarily excite you too much, but it can encapsulate to mean that you can outboom. I think Indian camels are very strong here because Malians would either go knights or camels, so Indian camels would be the stronger of the two. But since they removed plate barding armor from Indians, I'm not even sure if that statement's correct anymore. There was a time where Indian camels got extra melee armor. I think that was 2 or 3 years ago. But then it was changed to just pierce armor. And so it's good against archers, or better against archers. But since you don't get plate barding armor on your heavy camels, if it's just heavy camel versus heavy camel, Malian Cav gets +7 with Farimba. But good defense from MbL so far. Just things to think about. I now have a gambling addiction. Yeah. I was talking to the mods about the whole predictions thing the other day. It's like, we kind of set precedent that we're going to do this on normal streams as well. And I'm not going to be able to do it all the time. So, actually, I prefer I never do it. So, thankfully, one of the mods was able to do it. We're probably going to expand the mod team sooner or later. So, we might have more people on board to be able to help out. But yeah, I think it's an even civ matchup. But I just slightly prefer Malians because they could go for knights or camels. And I also really like the idea of them going crossbows with fast ballistics in this matchup. Also, of the two, I think Malians might be better at going fast castle, but I think both are doing that. MbL will be very comfortable. He was able to peel away with his scout, which is on low HP, but it is alive. And he was able to clear out the militia, so he can just do whatever he wants now. I'd like to see MbL push in the deer to his TC with 1 militia. Because he doesn't know exactly what's coming. He's probably just thinking, well, if he doesn't go FC, I'm going to have protection here. And MbL's clicked up. But yeah, push in a deer to the TC. That'd be beautiful. How Indians can handle Halb Ram push? Not well, but Malians do not get Siege Ram and Malians do not get Halberdier. So I don't think that that's really something that would happen in this matchup. Yeah, it's just not... I mean, if it was Celts versus Indians, then you start to worry if you're Indians. But won't happen here. Hand cannons are strong with Indians, but it's rather slow. And still doesn't give you a real answer to the Rams deep chill. But yeah, that's not really something that is something that will happen here. I think this is going to be into crossbows from both of them. Now, Indian villagers will be even cheaper in the next stage. So you can boom while making crossbows, even though you don't get Arbalest long term. Malians don't have the best Arbalest long term, even though they do get Arbalest. But I think what's nice about going Malians is that All your wood buildings are discounted, so you can go for 2 ranges easier than Indians can. And your university techs come in faster, so you can go for ballistics. So if they're going for the same builds, I'd prefer to have Malians. Wouldn't Cav Archers dominate? Champs are too slow for Malians. While Cav Archers wouldn't be good from Malians, I think they're pretty bad. And then Cav Archers from Indians could work. Yep. You could see a transition into that later.
Got a new job. Here is your share. Hope I can support you now on a regular basis.
Dermot, congrats on the new job. Man, has everyone been getting new jobs recently? I mean, it's possible that some people are looking for jobs and now feel bad, but congrats, man. There's been so many people showing up and saying they've got new jobs, and well, congrats to the people who have. And to the people who are still looking, you'll get there. Listen, go into the interview, and they'll say, what do you like to do with yourself? How do you spend your time? And then you say, well, I spend all my time watching this guy named T90, watching other people play video games. And they'll be like, wait, what? He sounds so responsible. Oh my, hired. And then you say, actually, can I have a higher salary? I have expensive habits. Oh yeah, definitely. You're a T90 fan? You watch some guy watch other people play video games? Definitely. Boom. Type a 1 in chat if that worked for you at your job. See? Chat would never tell a lie. That's what I've heard. See? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Easy. MbL is on his way up. He did at a range. What is that placement, though? What is that placement, dude? He didn't place it on the front. Maybe he's trying to hide it, but that is... I was expecting the archery range to be on the front of his base. Now he's scouting around, and he can see Villese is going double range, and he just lost his scout. Good job from Villese to archers. So for Villese, this is precisely what I had said. For MbL, this is precisely what he likes to do. Play defensive. Very difficult, though, to be able to afford elite skirmisher and upgrades compared to crossbow and upgrades. Crossbow is 125 food, 75 gold. Elite skirm, I always forget the specifics. I think it's 160 wood. No, it's like 200 wood and 160 gold, I think, just for elite skirm. But I don't know the exact price because it's been changed before. It used to be 250 wood. I think they changed it down to, is it 230 now? 230, 160? Gotcha, okay. I think it's been changed twice over the last couple years. Yo, CVAD, what's up? Intervento says, I want to change jobs, but I'm waiting to play in a community game so I can put it on my resume. That will make all the difference. That's smart. That's smart. I definitely wouldn't apply to new jobs until you have a community game win on your resume. Okay, so the crossbowmen are here from Villese, but I think Villese might be a little confused because he... Oh, no, he spotted it. Okay, he knows. Now, this is an invitation to back away and... you know, don't take any risks. Or you could go forward with the Siege Workshop. Because Siege is amazing against skirms.
Chat, believe in yourselves. If we work as a team, we can all have at least one job. Much love from Brazil.
Okay. That was inspirational. Life-changing. Appreciated.
I told my boss that I was sub-ed at T90 and he immediately gave me a promotion and an extra 3 weeks of vacation.
See? Listen, these are real-life stories. Thank you, Bite My Bacon Bits, for the true-life story as MbL shows up with skirms. Something that Villese was expecting. So he was being attentive to this, but you have to make MbL work for this defense, right? You can't just sit at home. I mean, you can. He is. He's added a TC. He's now going for a stable, which is kind of interesting. I just don't feel like he has enough on food to really justify 2 TCs and a stable, but maybe he feels like 1 or 2 knights would work well. Guys, what MbL has done in this series is just make skirm after skirm after skirm after skirm and just punish people. It's really ridiculous. I know that he's known for this, but the fact that he has made skirms in situations when enemy could switch into knights and has switched into knights and gotten away with it is just... makes it look way too easy. But he also is only on 1 TC right now. So it's not like he's booming. Villese won't be happy about losing those crossbows, but he's still producing more and has a villager lead, so. I told my boss I watched T90 and he said, no, you're the boss now. Oh, not congratulations on the promotion. MbL losing skirms now. So he might lose an equal amount of skirmishers that Villese lost crossbows. Actually, MbL turns around there, gets a kill, and then we'll take losses. Normally, it's weird to see a spearman added. It is weird to see a spearman added, but the knights also have no upgrades. So the knight was enough. 2 knights now, just to get MbL off of his face. Is MbL now thinking he needs monks? All about the defense, MbL. But, guys, Villese is the lead. Starting to look more realistic that Villese might be able to bring it back in this series. You've got a slight lead. A lead that's throwable, but a lead nonetheless. Some of the Malian bonuses coming into play. I also like how Villese doesn't overinvest into attack when he knows MbL's style. He's like, okay, let's just add a 3rd TC. I think it needs to come up soon. This woodline's hurting my eyes here. Both of these. He needs a TC somewhere. There you go. That'll look a little bit better. But this game's going to imp. MbL's so good at stalling out games. I don't think this game is ever going to end in Castle Age. Now, Villese or MbL could get a big advantage in Castle Age, but we shall see.
Twitch Prime, I think it was.
Great reaction from MbL on the woodline. Weak villagers there. Villese will constantly be annoying there. So MbL's just going to sit some skirms in that spot. Thank you, Atomic Sausage, for gifting Scroodle the sub, and some others too. Oh, I got it wrong, actually. Sorry, but you have gifted others in the past, so whatever.
Force nothing.
What's up, Senfk?
Go02.
Thanks for the 2 months. Wraith, welcome back. Thanks for the 2 months.
Got into watching O2 during HC4.
Sick.
Thanks for the great content, my dude. This game is amazing. I just wish I could be the medium eye consistently.
Oh, on that note, I got a text from my uncle, and he said, and big fight coming. Don't worry, I will cast. MbL just playing as defensive as possible, man. Sitting back with skirms and monks, doesn't get a conversion, but does get kills as these units have to run away. I'd be really frustrated if I were Villese. Got a text from my uncle. I think he's like 55. I don't know how old my uncle is, all right? I know he's older than me. Anyways, at 11 p.m. last night, he texted me and said, finally beat the AI on standard in a skirmish in AoE. Took me a while to figure it out. Hidden Cup 5, here I come. I'm so proud of him, man. That's so cool. Salutes in chat for my uncle, man. Who, by the way, like my family, they know what I do. But this aunt and uncle in particular are always sending me texts and congratulating me for events and whatnot and always paying attention. They're my biggest cheerleaders in my family when I first said I wanted to do this back in the day. So, pretty cool. But anyways, I got to thinking about that because Wraith resubbed and says, I just wish I could beat the medium AI consistently. Well, that's all right. I'll send over my uncle's recorded games and you can learn from him. All right? He's a beast. Thanks for the 2, though, from Natty Ice as well. I have to say, guys, it's really freaking cool to see all the 2 months come back because I think we just lost a ton of subs. When I started the stream, we had 13,000 and now we're down to 8. So the subpocalypse is in full swing here. And I guess some people resubbing after the loss of their primes. It was all expected, though. Losing subs a month after Hidden Cup 4 is like... It's as expected
Also
as
got a
MbL
new
playing
job
with walls
recently.
and skirms.
I was fired from my last job for watching Hidden Cup 4 instead of working.
What? God got fired? What? MbL hops out of the TC, gets a conversion, and tries to use that knight to take out the Mangonel. But the Mangonel is going to be here, and MbL's getting redemption. Now, this is classic MbL stuff. Watch this patience, guys.
2 months subbed.
This is going to be really cool. He has his monks inside the TC, and he's getting redemption, which means he can convert siege. Now, I uploaded a video where he did this in the past, and he converted 3 Mangonels and then won the game.
Twitch Prime, I think it was.
A clip you guys have probably seen if you've watched the video. But watch this. He could range both of these Mangonels, and if he gets the conversions, he could kill all the crossbows.
T90.
Let's see. Redemption is in. 1, 2... Oh! Oh my god! It happened again! The excellent defense from MbL. He takes care of 3 Mangonels that way. Man, now the only thing is I wish he had a little bit more confidence and didn't fall back to towers, because He doesn't really need the towers, you know? That was a just-in-case decision. But it's just so awkward when you're in Vilese's shoes there because you think you're doing a good thing attacking the TC. You think it's just villagers in there, but really it's monks.
HC4 subscriber who isn't going away. I'm not just passing. Keep it up, T90.
Thanks, Revias. Thank you, Eric, too. Cool game here, guys. I knew this would go imp, right? But with Indians, your villagers are so much cheaper. Even though MbL has less on food, he's going to save up for imp. We talked about his map earlier. He's certainly got the woodlines to work with over here. But the golds were forward, so he's going to TC this as he will click up, and he's going to go Cav Archers, it seems. Now, Villese, to be fair, Villese also made Camels and Knights, which cost food and gold. So I can see why that's a reason he might not have the res to go imp quite as quickly. But Indian villagers being cheap means that MbL will probably boom up to like 140, 150 and be able to afford anything he wants
Cast
here.
Uncle's game?
Cast my uncle's game? I'll ask him. Cast someone's game against the AI.
T90_bro versus T90_uncle Showmatch coming in.
That's pretty funny. If my uncle beat the medium AI or standard AI or whatever, he would 100% beat T90 Bro. No offense to T90 Bro, who does lurk out there sometimes on streams, but how do I put this lightly? Lightly. He's garbage.
God got
That's
fat.
light.
Jesus took the wheel.
That's light. That is the kind way to describe my brother's skills. You don't even want to hear the mean way, trust me. Now, when I saw this map, first off, I talked about the woodlines. MbL's woodlines were so big, you needed to see a doctor if this game lasts a certain amount of time. But I also saw this hill. There's just one giant mountain in the center, and that mountain is going to be controlled by Villese. So, I mean, that's really important here. Now, granted, there's other aspects of the map, other areas to expand to, but if Villese were to post up with castles on the hills, MbL is just going to be sitting back with all the wood in the world, not knowing what to do with it. Let's be...
Play him with one arm tied behind your back.
Play my uncle with one arm tied behind my back. Yeah, I've played with one hand before. Now, unless I couldn't use a mouse and I had to play with, like, WASD, then I think I'd be okay. So, MbL getting pikemen. We know he has ranged units out already. He's kind of hidden the fact he's going for Cav Archers, but he does have them out there. And it's a good play from MbL. I think that going for Cav Archers and going for Halberdier is good if you're expecting enemy to go Camels, and that's exactly what the enemy is going for. MbL confidently splits away from that and then runs away with his tail between his legs, as he should, because the castle's there. And yeah, I mean, both are at 150 pop. No one's really taking engagements. Not a single villager has even died in this game, so this is going to be a long one. This is where having castles in crucial areas and having walls can be helpful too, as raids will eventually come in. In these situations, sometimes it's best to just open with light cap and start raiding MbL. Like, you have the hill, so just sit here, raid with light cap, and then if he says, oh, he doesn't have military on this hill, I'm going to try and push it, then just wait, you know? Just be patient with your camels. I honestly feel like that's a play that a lot of big names would go for. It's just raid first, mass, and then push the castle while they're distracted. Now, the skirms don't scale super well now. They, well, I mean, he's getting all the upgrades on the Cav Archers, which will apply to the skirms, but, you know, truthfully, that's going to get wrecked against the camels. I think it's crucial that Villese has kept crossbows alive so he could deal with halberdiers. That's good to see. And if you look at the relic situation 2-1, Villese expanding on the left to see that MbL does have some exposed areas as he castles another hill. Also had 2 knights over here. MbL will take them out, but not before the knights get some kills. Or not, actually. It's better that they buy time as opposed to get kills, I guess. But they will die. Hey, MbL about to complete chemistry. That's an upgrade that's already in for Villese, but that's in because Malian universities work faster. And we will see bombard cannons from both here. And it's all going to go down in the center. I'm still surprised we don't see any type of raids, but if you invest into light cav, I guess, then you don't have the camels or the cav archers or whatever, and then you can just lose the main fight, which is the biggest worry. MbL's army composition is not quite as expensive. And he's defensive now with his own Trebs as the bombard cannons are on the way. Now, he had a game, I think it was game 1, where he did something similar here. Camels do not have Farimba, by the way. So, no 7+7, just 7+1 on these bad boys, which is not good. It's not good at all. And also, Mali and Arbalest do not get bracers. So, I think MbL's composition is better long-term, truthfully. Especially because he has trash units combined with a gold unit. And he's so confident he's making another castle there. He has 1 bombard cannon going after the Treb, which should mean he gets it. He knows that there's bombard cannons there from Villese as well. He won a game exactly like this earlier on in the series, guys. He's so good with defense. It's infuriating. Like, Villese has played so well. And yet Villese didn't kill any villagers in Castle Age. And now MbL is the one who's going to try and push up this gigantic hill. 193 pop for MbL. He just has more military right now. And we see Farimba now for Villese, so he will have the extra attack. But hard for him to engage when there's pointy boys there, so he needs to make sure. Well, honestly, now MbL needs to be careful not to push because the Halps have 0 upgrades. So I think if he advances over here with this main force, Villese will pounce and should pounce. MbL's point of view, he can see kind of what's going on here. Pushing up the hill. Will Villese try and... Yeah, I think MbL's realizing this is a little awkward right now, so he's not advancing forward with everything. Skirmisher and Arb on the hill. This is why you take that hill early on, and MbL loses 1 bombard cannon. Villese comes in. MbL will lose all of his bombard... What? I'm surprised he didn't engage there. Now remember, I'm obviously not as good as Villese. But I feel like you only have skirms here. You should probably pounce on those bombard cannons. We are seeing a raid here. There's a light cav. The light cav will have +7 attack as well. So these things are making me feel confident for Villese. It's something that I mentioned early in. I guess if he doesn't get overwhelmed in the center, he could just continue to raid on the sides. MbL sending his cav archers to the sides. 2-to-1 with relics. There is a monk here holding a relic that will hopefully make his way back for Villese. MbL's cav archers, not where he had them before. It might need to be tracked, but it's easier to kill a bunch of villagers with a few light cav than it is a big ball of cav archers because the cav archers are in one spot. Easy to track down if you have the military for it. Whereas the light cav can spread out. Villese reacts. And he's even sending light cav in after this. And some camels, yeah. MbL needs to get buy time and space with this army because I think it will eventually die. But the thing about bombard cannons is they're clunky, man. They're clunky and they're also more expensive than Trebs. So it's not easy at all to focus on that and everything else. Here's MbL. Mark it, Villese. Market it. Okay, Blacksmith. All right, and he's blocked the cav archers. Now, in some ways, this is going to benefit the cav archers because the camels and light cav can't surround. But with that amount of attack, I think if you... Yeah, and he's deleting the palisades. The camels are going to own the CA. Great play from Villese. Oh, and the monk! Bro, are you really putting the relics in the middle? Tell me you have another monastery in the back of your base. I swear, if he puts the relic... Okay, he's going to move it here... He might even commit more towards monks overall to convert bombard cannons, but please don't put your relics in the middle. Because if you lose control, oh God, oh, MbL's shifted positions. Villese is over here thinking, oh, I'm going to push 2 castles, but guess what? MbL's over here now. So here comes just camels, but MbL has the helps. And actually, Villese he does not have stone. So he either decides to push MbL's double castle, or he has to just leave this hill and go here. And I think in this case, it's advantage MbL just because he's the one forcing the engagements. Important hill, too, as we mentioned, you know, to raid this later on as we see barracks for Villese. Now, remember, Malians do not get Halb, so that's going to hurt big time. These camels are very expensive while they are strong, but are they really strong against Halps? Not really. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ah! That's awful for those camels, but also awful for MbL's Bombard Cannons, as he will... What? Splits with the Bombard Cannon, still has 2 alive somehow. And will he take out that castle? He will. Now, it's worth it if he loses the Bombard Cannons. He'd be fine with that. He just wanted to take out the castle. I think MbL's composition is just a little bit better. It's more awkward to control your units when you're Villese. At least the units that MbL's fighting with get full upgrades, whereas Arb and Skirm do not get fully upgraded. Villese just not as good in post-imp as MbL. And MbL's so good at delaying it to post-imp. Now, I don't think the Champ Scarls are on... I don't think that you can realistically switch into champions now. I know a lot of people want it. But when you lose control, as he's actually clicking two-handed swordsman, it just takes so long to then get champion, to then mass the units. But he does have 60 on food. So I don't know, maybe. MbL now going to try and push up this hill. He needs to make sure there's halbs there so Lightcap don't snipe the trebs, and that's immediately what Villese goes to do. Meanwhile, MbL taking good fights here. Fights he'll be happy with. Villese realizing the halbs are there is probably realizing he's losing control and realizing that maybe Malians aren't better than Indians at this stage. And everything here is getting mopped up. Again, even though champions seem like an idea for Malians, you're so far behind in infantry upgrades. As you're making that tech switch, which might not even work, by the way, against Cav Archers, you're losing ground. Too little, maybe too late from Villese. He's 30 pop behind MbL. And Villese is out of stone now. So he is... Usually you don't realize this, so he has to buy stone. I think it's GG, guys. I think MbL is going to win this best of 7 right here. We'll take out this Treb with halbs. Villese is buying stone desperately. MbL knows the situation. He's going to run in with his CA. He doesn't care. Run in with the CA to stop the repairs. Has the halbs on either side to protect some Trebs. MbL played so freaking passive in Castle Age. And he always is going to extend that game to Imp, man. Sick. It's so impressive. If you look at the amount that Villese has on food, Villese has 74 on food. But he was never in a position where he used that to raid with Lightcap, right? He's just got outplayed with the straight up fights. Now, I am curious to see what happens when he has Lightcap pop out of these stables. But he's slowly losing these stables. Okay, the two-handed swordsmen are out. They do have higher pierce armor with Malians, but as I expected, I think heavy Cav Archers have so much damage output that the lack of mobility on the champions or the two-handed swordsman means that they're just going to die anyways. This is funny, dude. He's going to have... He has a lot of Cavalier in here. Okay, he ejects from this stable. Doesn't get the trap. That's tilting. Here he comes up the hill. Ting, 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 ting. Still has 70-some farmers, right? So we can still spam Lightcav as the stables are slowly going down. 60 military for Villese. He pops out with the Cav, and he might just want to keep the stables active. Did he misclick, though? No, no, no. Should have at least got one there. That Treb's on 3 HP. It's getting champion now. Malian champions can either be the strongest thing or like the most underwhelming thing ever. It's like in the situations where it works really well. But in the situations where it doesn't, it just And MbL's already mixing in some hand cannons, which is a good move if you're seeing this. Hand cannons are the go-to. But I still think Cav Archers are just... They're too strong here. But like Cav, a lot of attack. 30 military versus 70, though MbL's starting to raid with a lot of that as he'll take down another castle. Cav Archers killing everything. You can see it in the KD there. The Champ Scarls are now in, and they'll take out the trap. Okay. Now it's 3-1 when it comes to relics. So advantage MbL in that department. He has taken out 3 crucial castles in the center of the map. And so he should be able to raid more as well, which is happening in some cases. You can see, oh, that's a relic. I thought it was a yellow military unit. My bad. Maybe Villese should try and get that. MbL doesn't have Hussar in yet. He doesn't really have that much on food. I mean, 46 on food is not bad, right? But he should probably click the Hussar upgrade. And it's just so many military units for MbL. Now, granted, all of them need to move forward, and he's doing that. But if you zoom out and look at where the hills are located, the hills are always going to be closer to Villese. And MbL sat back most of the game, and yet he was still able to push all those crucial hills we talked about. It's really impressive. And now he's going to go here. I think Villese is just probably shook a little bit. Probably can't... He's probably surprised that MbL's been able to accomplish this. And he played well, right? In all 5 games, they were very, very close. It's just that MbL... He's so good in imp situations. And he's good at imp situations, but he's also good at making it imp. He buys himself time, whether it's with walls or skirmishers or monks. Or in one game, you know, he had a lot of aggression behind it, but he ends the game with 95 military, 6 stuff, and congrats to MbL. Thank you also M Sugar, who I have not seen in chat today, but I think he's the one who hosted the show match for these two. That was cool. Fun games. I think Villese will be disappointed because so many of these games were really close. But there's the overall resource difference. Villese did have more gold, but MbL... He had more food and more gold, but MbL still was taking the better engagements. Yeah, the camels are just so weak when there's halberdiers in there. So, just to clarify some things, I say Champ Scarl because Malian infantry gets +1 Pierce Armor per age. And so there's a unit called a Huskarl with Goths, which has really high Pierce Armor, and is really good against archers. What people in the community call Malian champions are Champ Scarls because they have 8 Pierce Armor, which is great against archers, right? The problem is a champion's slow, 70 HP, and a Cav Archer has 11 attack with full upgrades. So having 8 Pierce Armor is not that great when someone has Cav Archers masked. Whereas if it was Arbalest would have 10 attack. A little better. But yeah, I just felt like, you know, with all the meat shield that MbL offered himself with the Halbs and the light Cav, and the fact he had heavy CA, which is super expensive. If you're going to go champion, you had to be proactive with it, I think. And I think reacting is always going to lead to dying. T90, how do you buy time? I don't see that option in the market, Kappa. Okay, well played. Well played. Yeah, it's not there. But if it was there, I'm sure MbL would find it. Champion plus Hal would be good. Yeah, but they don't have Halberdier. Malians, like the second the camels didn't do anything there, Malians were at a disadvantage. Because they don't get help. They also do not get bracer on their ranged units. So basically, the ranged units were worse for Villese, and his camels were taken out of the equation because of where MbL placed his castles and the fact he had help. So the more I think about it, heavy Cav Archer and Halb from Indians is basically better than everything Malians can do, except for possibly like Siege Onager, right? However, I think that Villese should have raided. You guys might disagree, and I know you guys know more than I do, Kappa, but I think Villese was in a position to raid with light Cav, and he just didn't do it. I don't know why. Maybe he felt like the middle was more important, but I think that he could have peeled off some light Cav and raided more. Something that, in all fairness, he did do, I think, at one stage, but then he kind of stopped doing that.